Welcome to Premiership South Football. It's the defending national champions of Bristol Aztecs have travelled to take on the Rushmoor Knights here at Farnborough. We're in South London. It's a beautiful day. It's about 22 degrees here. The sun is shining. My name's Carl Walkinshaw. We're going to be bringing you all of the action from this big matchup. So we're looking forward to that. And I'm joined in the booth today by Spencer Cutland, who is you're a national champion, Spencer. You won it last year with the Bristol Aztecs, so congratulations on that and welcome to the booth.
Thank you very much, Carl. Pleasure to be here. Yes, a momentous year for the Bristol Aztecs family, a championship winning season.
Amazing. And are you looking forward to this game? This will be an interesting one. What's your first kind of take on it?
Well, for me, it's going to be how the Aztecs bounce back from their loss against Warsaw. You know, it's a tough place to go, over to Poland in the CEFL, and how are they going to come back? What are they going to show us? What have they learned? What are they going to apply today?
Now, we've got an exciting game coming up. Kickoffs at about 3 p.m. There will be a minute's silence for Andy Wayne as well. Sorry, a minute's applause for Andy Wayne as well. And we've got something new, because later on in the game, we're going to have to decide our most valuable player. Now, most teams have a most valuable player, right? With the Bristol Aztecs doing everything a little bit more, today's most valuable player is the Meat VP Award, and we're going to be proudly sponsored by New Manor Farm Shop. It's an award-winning farm shop, butchers and cafe, open 7 days a week. New Manor Farm rear beef, sheep and pigs to high welfare standards, and are also leading the way in sustainable British farming, using farm byproducts to create clean, low-carbon energy. So our MVP today, Spencer, is going to be a Meat VP, and hopefully that's something that will continue.
I'm sure every player on the Aztecs team are going to be fighting for this.
Exactly. So we got a tough job, because we're going to have to decide who it is. So it is going to be a hard job that we've got here. We've also got some sideline action for you. We've got interviews with the two head coaches coming up now. On the sideline with us today is our sideline reporter, Wilf Kemsley, and I'm going to hand over to Wilf to give you an interview with Phil Dumont, who's the Rushmoor Knights head coach.
Thanks, Carl. Yeah, thank you so much, Phil Demonte, for a moment of your time before the game. There's been a lot of change at the Rushmoor Knights recently. There's a new coaching setup, lots of new players for you to get to know. I mean, how have you enjoyed getting stuck into this new group?
Well, change is inevitable. You know, sometimes you pick up people, sometimes you lose them, but it's not how we've been performing in the past, but where we're going in the future.
Now, there's a really lovely full circle moment today, because of course Pete Jones of the Bristol Aztecs, his first ever session 25 years ago, you were there in charge of the Aztecs at the time. I mean, how does it feel to have been such an integral part of Britball all that time, Phil?
Well, I tell you what, I wouldn't have changed anything, and I wish I could go back and do it all over again, including all the injuries. But no, it's been fun, it's been real.
I think we know the answer to this, but if you were going to have to pick out a couple of boys today in the Rushmoor Knights side that are going to cause the Aztecs real problems, is there anyone that we should be keeping a special eye on?
Yeah, anyone in Columbia Blue. They're all going to give them a hard time today. No one's going to let up at all.
Phil, thank you so much for speaking to us. I know you've got so much to do, so I'll let you head off, and I'll rotate straight round the corner to speak to the Bristol Aztecs coach, Pete Jones, of course. Pete, it's been a really interesting start to the season. There's been all the drama over in Europe with baggages going left, right and centre, and then you've had a couple of...
baggage going nowhere, yeah.
And, you know, a couple of games to be rearranged as well, but looking like a really strong lineup today. How close do you think you are to the sort of perfect setup with this group?
Yeah, I'd say not very close at the moment. Like, we still got lots of work to do, but it's you know, it's May, right? It's June tomorrow. So there's still a couple of months in the season. You know, we've had a kind of a relatively disjointed start to the year. We had a friendly against Nottingham. We've had 2 CFL games. We've had 2 Prem games, and now it's all kind of Prem games in front of us. So we look forward to kind of getting stuck into that over the next couple of months.
Yeah, I think the Stallions game against Wembley, the newly promoted side, stood out to me because you put a lot of points on them that day. But yet, at the end of the fixture, I don't think you were as pleased as a coach could be, perhaps, with how things went. It says a lot about the standards at the Aztecs, and you know, how do you continue to drive that bottom level when you are in front, when you are leading, where you might be favourites like today? How do you continue to drive those high standards?
Yes, it's difficult, and you've got to continually be coaching the guys up. Got to make sure you're on top of, you know, film review, making sure guys are getting what they need at practice. There's always a mix between making sure your starters get enough game time and making sure the 2s and 3s get enough game time. And, you know, wherever you are, it's difficult. You know, we spent a lot of time, years in the kind of mid-table Prem, and it's very hard to get everyone game time there. When you're at the bottom, you need to play all your starters to try and stay in the league. When you're at the top, like, you've got to get your starters enough that they're ready for a playoff football, but you've got to be developing the other guys as well. So it's always a difficult balance. And for me, it's always about focusing on like like what we do, irrelevant of the opponent, and trying to make sure we put the best football we can on the field. And that's why we're really rigorous with, you know, film review and grading and all that kind of stuff, because we're judging ourselves against our standards rather than what the score is for that week, sort of thing.
Pete, thank you so much for speaking to us. I'll let you get back to the prep. What a beautiful day for it here in Farnborough. It's going to be a fantastic fixture, of course. Rushmoor beaten twice last time they faced up with the Aztecs last campaign, but lots of changes, lots of new faces. Carl, I'll throw back to you to get this party started. Thanks
ever so much, Wilf. We are literally getting the party started. We're stood on the sideline here, so we've got we're in the sun, which is great. Spencer's putting his sun cream on. I forgot mine, so I have to borrow some of his. But interesting that what Phil was saying. Phil's been around for so long in British American football, and he was the head coach when Pete was at the Aztecs back in the day. So a really interesting link there.
Yeah, Pete came over to us and made us known of that little fact. It just shows about the legacy of some of these coaches that are around the league right now and how much history the league actually has. And it's really, really good to see that people are still putting it in and still trying to build what is BAFA these days.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about both these teams. Bristol Aztecs coming into this game, they're defending champions. You were on that national winning team. They've opened up the Premiership South 2-0. They beat the London Blitz 28-0, which I think the Aztecs sort of expected that would be maybe a more competitive game. And then they followed that with a big win over the Wembley Stallions, 52-20. The Wembley Stallions, the only ones to score on them so far within the Prem South. And so it's interesting that although they've played that CEFL game and they've also played a friendly against the Nottingham Caesars, they're actually only their third Premiership South game. So they've been busy, but only a 2-0 record.
Yeah, and that's key about this game is momentum. And I think Rushmoor played 3 games as well. So they've got a lot of experience here in the season. And obviously with Aztecs going abroad and playing in the CFL, like you said, very busy, very, focusing on many things, not only the Brit Ball Championship, but having to mix that focus. It'll be interesting to see if that's affected them today.
We're going to talk a little bit more about what happened in Warsaw as we get into it, but just turning our attention a little bit to the Rushmoor Knights. Coming into this game, they opened the season with a dramatic 28-27 victory over the Wembley Stallions. It was literally last-minute play. Some people thought the field goal didn't go over. The referees were undecided. Then they throw their hands up and they win that one. But then the head coach, Calvin Stitt, departed the programme before the first Blitz game, and now we've got Phil DeMont stepping into that role. So it's a difficult season to begin with, playing the Blitz back-to-back, then the Aztecs back-to-back. But on top of that, your head coach is gone.
Yeah, it's an unprecedented event, that is, to actually lose your head coach. Someone who's building the process, building the culture, building the systems, and to have that person removed or to leave or whatever you want to, call that event, it's got to be demoralizing, but also for the whole system and the whole program. They've got to adjust, not only to who they're playing on the team, but within themselves. And Phil's got a tough job ahead of him, but I trust that he does have the experience to do so.
Yep, so it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. What do you think, just quickly, that Bristol are going to want to get out of this game? What's the 1 or 2 things that they really want to see?
It's to set the bar. They've gone away to Europe. They've lost the game, which is undoubtedly going to be painful to take. But the focus is now fully on the Brit Ball Championship. They want to be the best they can be and show everybody that they are the best. And
now, last weekend, the British American football community lost a dedicated and valued member. Andy Wayne was a passionate official and coach, as well as a loving father, grandfather and great-grandfather. His contribution to the sport and those around him will be greatly missed. And in recognition of Andy's life and commitment to the game, we will be having a minute's applause after the coin toss. You can see the 2 teams now coming out to the field for the coin toss. It'll be interesting to see exactly who wins it, and then what Rushmoor. I think I'm interested to know whether Rushmoor will want to put their offence out against Bristol.
Do the whole coin toss. We'll get you back to the sideline. We'll get to the kick-off spot. We'll do the applause, and then we'll get straight onto the game from there. Okay. Okay, my name's Keith Wickham. I'm the referee today. I deal with penalty enforcement. If it's obvious, I'm just going to tell you what you've got, what's been given against you. If there's a decision to be made, I'll get one of you next to me. I'll point you towards your sideline so you can get the coach to give you some input. Let's do it quickly, though. People are here to watch you play football, not me enforce penalties. As a visiting team, you're going to get to call. I have a Sunbelt coin. Sunbelt is a head. I know that because it says tails on this side. So if it doesn't say tails, it's going to be a head. As a visiting team, you get to call. What do you want to call?
Tails, please.
What did he say?
Tails.
He did. And it is a tail. You've won the toss. I've got these belts on, and you're going to defer.
Yes.
So they are deferring. I should have done it the other way. I guess you're going to receive.
Yeah, we'll receive.
Which end do you want to kick from? Okay, so you come around that way, you go around that way for me, Knights. So Knights will be receiving the ball at this end. Right, back to the sidelines, we'll have that minute's applause, gentlemen.
So the Knights will be receiving the ball first. Thanks to Keith Wickham, our referee is going to be looking after everything on the field today.
How are you? Good.
So, yep, you heard, I don't know whether you heard that from Keith Wickham, but basically the Knights will receive the ball first, and it was Bristol that won the toss. Now, we're just going to have that minute's applause for Bristol, for Andy Weir. So this applause is for Andy Wayne, passionate official and coach, as well as loving father, grandfather and great-grandfather. So we're going to have that minute's applause for him right now. So a special celebration of Andy Weir's life, and our condolences do go out to his family, team and everyone affected by his loss. But we do celebrate his career with American football. Thank you, Andy. Right, we're going to turn our attention to the game at hand. And I was asking you a question about the Rushmoor Knights and what they want to get out of this game coming in.
Yeah, and I like the call, you know, take the ball and see what they can throw at them, catch the Aztecs off guard. They've travelled a long way down from Bristol, so let's see what they can bring to the table on this return.
So we're going to get the two teams out on the field. The roster for the Aztecs is always, you know, it goes over several pages, doesn't it? But for this, it's not such a large team for Rushmoor Knights. Now, the weather shouldn't affect it too much, but do you think it's difficult playing a team like Bristol with a very large roster, like they can rotate players in, keep people fresh? We might have people on the Rushmoor side playing both ways.
Yeah, it might come down to that, especially after talking to the defensive coordinator, James Martin, today. They have 20 injuries on defense from the first 3 games of the season. So that's quite a heavy pressure to hold on the rest of the players to keep up the momentum of the team.
Difficult, but Rushmoor will want to put on a good show. When we spoke to Phil as well, he was saying that the record, they're looking to obviously stay up in Premiership. It was a challenge for them to stay up last year. This year, even more. Back-to-back London Blitz, then back-to-back Aztecs, and then they're going to look to see whether they can win those other games. But they're not coming in here, you know, shouting about a win, but they are looking to maybe get an upset. We'll see how that plays out on the field as we're about to get ready for the kickoff here. Referees has blown his whistle, and we are underway in Farnborough for week 3 of the Aztec season. Return picked up and runners running to the right-hand side, and we will see how that goes. Our view here is pretty blocked off, isn't it, by the players on the Aztec sideline, so we'll give you as much information as we can, but decent return to start.
Looks like there's a flag on the play. The referee's thrown in the yellow flag there. Let's see what that's all about.
Yeah, first play, first flag from Keith Wickham. And we will get you a read on that. Rushmoor coming out with their offense.
Sideline interference with contact against the Knights. It'll be half the distance back. First down, Knights.
Thank you, Fred.
Sideline interference. So it's a coach or a player has put their leg out or done something. There's some sort of contact from a sideline player onto the field. Yeah,
there's 2 ways you can do that. There's a gap in between the actual field and the player's box. You've got a coach's box too, but also somebody might be further down than the 20-yard line. So we can't see from here, but I'm sure the ref saw it and flagged it.
So first and 10 for the Rushmoor Knights as they come out on their opening drive here. New quarterback in for Rushmoor. They're going to go immediately to the air and dropped. That was close to being caught. Trying to get the ball to Matt Ricard, who's one of their wide receivers, but incomplete, but showed some intent on first down.
Yeah, Henry Flint, QB. I think he's a new guy at Rushmoor today. Forcing the pass on the first play. I like it.
So it brings up the second down after the incompletion. See how this Rushmoor team comes out. Obviously put up 28 points against Wembley. So they have some players that can score, as this one's handed off to the right-hand side for a pickup of a few. Not much going on there. Tough to run on this Aztecs defense.
Not much, but there was a little bit of movement on that right side of the offensive line. So let's see if this is just a bit of momentum needed to build up from the Aztecs defense, because they do have a dominant D-line.
Third down for the Rushmoor Knights. Flint dropping back on third down. He goes to his right-hand side, and that one is caught and quickly out of bounds. So he does get the ball to that tall receiver, Matt Ricard, who's also a Great Britain athlete.
Yes, a young talent, and was mentioned to me by Steve Brown, the OC. He said to watch two players today, which is Henry Flint, the new fresh QB, and also Matt Ricard, who is a GB talent, yes.
So they make it count on third down. Not sure they got to the sticks.
Looks about 4th and 8 here, and it looks like they're going to punt.
No, honestly, it's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. I cut it down. I cut down.
So punt is up. Good kick. And now bounces up for a return. And a decent return that time. Sam East with the return duty. So Bristol will be just inside the Rushmoor half to open their drive.
Yeah, Sam East returning from a couple of games off. He wasn't allocated as one of the 2 American imports that are allowed to compete in the CFL. So it'll be interesting to see what he brings to the game today. A very dynamic player.
So speaking to the Aztecs pre-game, they were saying, you know, what they're looking to get out of this is more of the technical stuff, more of the, you know, Pete is such a perfectionist when it comes to this, but making sure the technique is good, making sure it's strong on offense, and they're not making those mistakes. 3 turnovers in the last game, so we'll see as Gretzinger comes out. 2 receivers to his right-hand side, and he will fire one over the middle, caught immediately, and that is going to be tackled for a big pickup on first down.
Yeah, Sean Cook there, tight end, fullback, running back, running a nice little seam route off the left-hand side there. Nice and open. Gretzinger threw him the ball, and a nice pickup on first down.
Yeah, Gretzinger so composed in the pocket behind that big offensive line, and you can see Sam, the ability that Sean has to catch those balls as well. So immediate first down. Gretzinger with the play action and over the middle, and another reception made this time. Still making yards. And that is a opening touchdown to Sam East.
Yeah, as we said on the kickoff return, Sam East, a very dynamic player. A little slant over the middle there. They're obviously exposing or targeting an area over the middle of the field, and Gretz has delivered him a great pass. He's taking the catch nice and easy, as we'll see on the replay here. Nice little 3-step slant. Takes it, makes 1, 2, 3. 3 guys miss. You got Ollie Luck out front making a key block and into the end zone.
So Sam East on the second play of the Aztecs drive takes it in. On their first drive, we're going to see whether the extra point is going to go. And that is good. So we got 7-0 to the Bristol Aztecs as your score update, and it looked pretty simple from here. But getting to this point, you know, where you can score so quickly takes a lot of work, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of preparation from Rian Hudson, OC, and obviously, like you said at the start, Pete Jones's sort of football knowledge coming in to make sure that they're moving the ball consistently, even. And we're probably going to see a lot of that today, and they're looking to make a statement, like I said, after having a loss in the CEFL this week.
Yeah, so the Rushmoor down early, just 3 minutes before the Aztecs strike with their first touchdown. And their first drive, they had the completion. They showed a little bit of signs that they can move the ball. So what do you think they need to do on this second drive coming out?
Yeah, they definitely did. You know, coming out with the first play with a pass that was nearly completed, and then using those big targets like Mac Ricard, the tight end that they got there. They're using him in the slot, moving him around as well. So I'm not expecting this to be over quite this soon. So I'm excited to see what Rushmoor bring to the table now on this drive.
Ready to kick it off is Ormond Cunningham. Low squib kick. And this will be picked up at about the 10-yard line. This one being returned up the middle before a bunch of orange arrive. So again, not much room there for the returner. Rushmoor now, they really just want to make sure that they can consolidate what they've already done on the reception and just keep the ball and try and make some yards.
Yep, short passes, short runs, 4 or 5 yards of play. Let's see what they can do. And a kicker correction there. It's actually Ollie Luck that's kicking now, as Reese Ormonde Cunningham has moved to the London Warriors.
There you go. And this is the way when you get a professional team, I guess. They're going to attract some ballers. Quarterback drops back for Rushmoor under pressure, will loft one over the top and just incomplete. Again, trying to go to the same target. But incomplete on this occasion. Still, he showed like he had a good arm there.
Yeah, strong pass, a nice spiral. As you can see on the replay here, you've got Maricard running a corner out. He's having to navigate some traffic. He's going to break to the outside, try and find some space in between what it looks like a cover 2 system. And yeah, just couldn't connect on that one.
So second down for Rushmoor on their second possession. 7-0 down already. This will be a handoff left-hand side, looking to find some room, but they closed the door quickly on the edge to the Aztecs, and not much room there for the running back, who was Salo Tom, to make anything of it.
Yeah, you got Casper Henfrey making the tackle there. The runner got really wide. There was a good outside zone run there to beat the D-line, but the linebacker's coming up clutch there and stopping them for a 2-yard gain, it looks like.
So 3rd and maybe 8, maybe 9 on this. On this play, we'll see dropping back again, and that one's intercepted by the Aztecs. Going back the other way, it is Xavier Gabriel de la Mada, and he takes it all the way down into the Rushmoor red zone, where they will set up 1st and 10. Nice play.
Yeah, great play. He's located the ball nice and early here.
The turnover is at 11 minutes. 11 minutes is the time of the turnover.
Yeah, so the cornerback there dropping back into coverage, following his runner and completing his assignment. I spoke to Coach Morton today, who's taken over from Coach Wilf as he's watching the GB game for his sister's first appearance. But I'll let the offense take over now.
Gretzinger with the starters for Bristol in good position. Trips to the top of your screen. Gretzinger's going to roll slightly that way and then loft a beautiful pass, which is caught, and touchdown Aztecs on the first play after the interception. That's what you do, you strike quickly.
When you have big targets like Ollie Luck, 6'6", I believe he is, 6'7" even, that's what you do. If he's got a height advantage, you just put it up. If you see Gretz here, he'll get the snap, roll out to his left. Nice O-line, lovely ball, and as you can see here, the height advantage that Ollie gets. High points the ball, brings it in. That's a teach tape there for any receiver. Go and high point the ball and you'll win most battles.
Yeah, and a beautiful throw by Gretzinger to the only place that the receiver's only got a chance to catch that one, right? The DB's not going to be anywhere near it.
Absolutely. It's quarterback 101. Put it in a place that your receiver can win.
So the Aztecs looking to add the extras. And they do. So 14-0 to the Aztecs here with that luck reception. And we're only about 4 minutes into this Q1. So Rushmoor throw the interception, Aztecs get the score. And Rushmoor really need to now just settle down and see whether they can just get a first down.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't scored a point in the last 2 games, and that's what one of the offensive goals were for today, is to break that duck, score points, and that only comes from first downs. So let's see if they can put together a more solid drive this time, work on the short stuff.
The score was at 10:47. The score was at 10:47.
So maybe they'll change it up, change the approach, and throw some shorter routes, try and get some people open underneath.
So ready for the kickoff. Aztecs kicking it away again to Rushmoor. Again, drive down the field rather than a high kick. It's a low bouncer that's picked up. Kicker return tries to change direction and does. Breaks away to his right hand side. A brilliant individual effort. Gets the ball all the way to the 40. I think that's Harvey Macy, the running back, who's made that return. And he's done a great job on it. Let's have a look at the replay here. Picks it up on the bounce. And this is all Macy, twisting and turning and finding a little bit of daylight to the right-hand side. And Aztecs really have to rally to get him down. So that gives the Rushmoor Knights some decent field position to start this, their third drive. Handoff up the middle, quick reactions from the Aztecs defense. Salu Tom on the run, and they're so fast, that interior defensive line.
Yeah, I think that's Joe Abu, sorry, my bad, that's my pronunciation there. Coming through the line, big, powerful defensive lineman there, hunting down the running back.
Aztecs defensive starters keen to keep a clean slate today. Tackle was made right at the stick, so this is 2nd and 11. That one's caught on the sideline, and that's a nice pickup to the 40-yard line. That one's gone to number 6 for the Rushmoor Knights, and that's Angelos Mateurosis.
Yeah, it was actually listed as a QB, so like you said at the start of the broadcast, they've got a couple of players that are maybe out of position, but actually putting a good effort in, and that's a lovely gain up the sideline, and definitely going to give them some confidence.
First down Rushmoor at the 41-yard line now. It's their first down conversion. As they send a man in motion, this handoff for Salu again, that defensive line all over it in the backfield. That'll go for a loss of about 4 yards and set them up with a 2nd and 14.
Yeah, as you can see there, dominant defensive line. It's a strong part of the defensive team this year, is their defensive line and linebackers coming in, and they're doing a very good job across the season so far of shutting down run games. So let's see how they adapt Rushmoor to this.
So 2nd and 14 for Rushmoor, rolling to the right-hand side and trying to get the tight end again. They're trying to get it to that tall new signing that they've got, Matt Rickard, but incomplete on that one.
Yeah, what I'll say here is plenty of time in the pocket for Henry Flint. He's trying to locate Matt Rickard on another corner route, so they're obviously attacking that gap in between the safety and corner in this cover 2.
So a big challenge on 3rd down. 3rd and 14 to kind of try and keep this drive alive, which has shown had one good reception. Flint will drill it, and he was trying to get the ball to, I think that was Joe Hammond, but incomplete on that one.
Yeah, maybe a little bit rushed there, but Hammond was free underneath, trying to gain some yards after the catch, but unfortunately a drop brings up the 4th down.
And we'll see what they do here. You've got to try and score, haven't you? You got, what, maybe 6 possessions per half. The Aztecs, they've already scored on the first 2 of their possessions. They score really quickly. You have to try and keep pace with them. But having said that, Rushmoor bringing out their punter by the looks of things. Well, partially blocked, but it's still a decent kick, and that will go out of bounds at about the 6-yard line. So what a great kick there.
Yeah, I'm coming from a punter myself. If I know there's an American import ready to return, I'm kicking it out of bounds too. So tactical and very effective. So yeah, that puts the Aztecs offense back in deep in their own half, and we'll see how they can build a strong offensive drive.
The change of possession is at 8.5 minutes. 8.5 minutes change of possession.
So 8.5 minutes left in Q1. As Ethan Gretzinger comes out with an empty set now. Ball actually went out of bounds at around the 10. Gretzinger takes the snap, and he will go short and underneath and caught to Josh Brees. Pick up of about 8. Nice and efficient, and a decent tackle as well made on that back end by Chris Sporton.
Yeah, Gretzinger looking for his big receiver Quinton Gwimmer there, but the DB went with the vertical route, so he threw it underneath the Brees.
Smart, composed play from Gretzinger. 2nd and 3. It's a long 3. Both running backs in the backfield, Cook and Brees. Gretzinger sends Cook in motion, and it's wow, it was close there to a Rushmoor player. It looked like it just slipped out of Gretzinger's hands a little. The closest player to the ball was Ollie Reynoldson, who's a Rushmoor player, Spence.
not a great view from where we are here. We've got a few Aztecs players, but as we can see, I think this looks like an RPO, so he's reading the pass, reading the run, but he's reading the backfield here with number 9, which is Sam East. But unfortunately a bit of traffic with the running back there, so was unable to succeed.
3rd and 3. Rushmoor showing some changes. They bring a blitz on 3rd down. Gretzinger rolls out and caught. Missed tackle, and now trying to pick up more blockers down the field, and he's broken free. That's going to be Quinton Wimmer all the way to the end zone. Touchdown Aztecs. Beautiful play from Wimmer.
Yeah, Gretzinger was looking for Wimmer on a fade route earlier, but they've run him on a little hitch underneath here, giving him the ball, and a US import showing his prowess and power there. I'm going to watch the replay and see how many people he's handed off, but that was a show of power.
Yeah, here is that replay. And it's just a short pass, but that first missed tackle, and then Wimmer's in space, Spence.
Yeah, he's made himself known, Wimmer, in the UK game. Powerful, tall, fast. He dominated through the University Leagues to their championship, and he's definitely showing his power there by handing off. I think I counted 3 people.
So we've had touchdowns from East, touchdowns from Luck, and now touchdown from Wimmer. And these Aztecs are really coming out firing on all cylinders in this first half.
Yeah, speaking to Rian Hudson before the game, he said that one thing they're going to do today is try and feed Wimmer as much as they can. So you can see here that this is the effect that he actually has when he gets the ball in his hands, and yeah, it's impressive.
It's great footwork, isn't it? You're working the angles against the defenders, so they're trying to come in on that near side hip and make the tackle.
But that score was at 7:21. 7:21 was the time of the score.
But with the quick feet of Wimmer, just defeated, I think it was four different tacklers there that couldn't bring him down. So you keep getting those clock calls. We've asked the referee to keep us abreast of what's happening on the clock. So we're halfway through that Q1 now with those 3 scores on the board. 21-0 is your score update here at Farnborough. Aztecs really piling it on early. Rushmoor coming off those 2 big defeats against the London Blitz, and then they have to go in to face the national champions at home, and then they have to face them away in a couple of weeks' time as well. So tough for Rushmoor, but they did show some signs of being able to move the ball earlier.
Yeah, they're not dead in the water here, Rushmoor. Like they're moving the ball, and the receivers are open. So let's see if they can just complete a few of those passes, and maybe something will change.
Return this time not as good as the previous return, as Harvey Macy tackled down, and Rushmoor will come out. Flint thrown that interception, but also had a completion as well. So we'll see whether he can keep his composure and get something moving with the Rushmoor offense. They have Salu as well, who we've not seen much of yet in terms of running ability, but it's tough with that defensive line, as you were saying. The defensive line of the Aztecs, Woodward, Ujaya, Transanis and Ali, they are tough in terms of a front, and you could argue, the best in the country. Flint will go to his left-hand side and complete short hitch route for a gain of 5. That one's gone to Materiosis again.
Yeah, well, we might have to call that the QB to QB connection here, because he's targeted him twice for 2 completions. Yeah, it's a lovely fade and an out route combination over here on the left-hand side. So it's a high-low read for the corner, and chose the open receiver, who was the out route.
We've got an injured player down. That's an Aztecs player. We don't like to see that on either team. So we'll get that.
The injury is at 6:55. 6:55 is the time of the injury.
Looks like that's the star D lineman Idrissa Fofana who's down.
Yeah, so we just got medics with him. Tell us a little bit about the last outing of the Aztecs to Warsaw. They went out to play Poland. They obviously had a fiasco with their luggage not arriving. So the shirts don't arrive, equipment doesn't arrive, boots don't arrive, and they had a mad rush to try and even put a game on.
Yeah, funnily enough, as we're on the flight path here to Farnborough Airport, airplanes are the key thing, yes. Turning up to a game with no kit, no jerseys, no nothing, and having to go to local sports shops, borrow from 2 of the local Polish teams. I don't know how the organization team of the Aztecs pulled it off, but they did. But going into a game where you don't have your own cleats, for me, I couldn't imagine what kind of adversity they had to go through just to get on the field, let alone try and perform against what are the Polish champions.
Absolute nightmare. So, I mean, you felt like it could have gone, it would have been a more competitive game if they had their own kit and they didn't have all those distractions, but they had to deal with it. It was a tough loss. So this is their bounce back game, but I know they came back from that visit determined to take the Premiership south, as Rushmoor, following the injury, try and get the ball out into the flat, but incomplete.
Yeah, and on the statement that Bristol are trying to make now, 21 points in the first quarter, well, halfway through the first quarter, is definitely a statement to the league that, yes, we've lost in Europe, but we are back and we're going to fully focus now on the Brit Bowl and winning another championship.
Absolutely. It meant that they didn't have that semi-final. Tough to play in Europe as well. We know the Titans lost big as well. Manchester Titans lost big as well. There are tough teams out there, but you felt like it could have been a more competitive game had the Aztecs had all their equipment. We'll find out more about that at half-time. It's 3rd and 3 for Rushmoor, who are looking to complete and convert. And that one's nearly intercepted. Trying to get the ball again to the big number 81, but undercut the route and nearly picked that one off.
Yeah, Javad Lidley there with the close to interception. I bet Eddie Adamade, the safety, is happy that there was not another interception there, as he's currently leading the team with interceptions. But yeah, a missed opportunity for a defensive score there. However, it does bring up 4th down and the Aztecs will get the ball.
So 4th and 4, pretty obvious punting situation for Rushmoor now, where you felt that they might have gone for it when they were in the Aztecs half, but certainly punting from here to give the ball back to Gretzinger, who's on fire today, looking to get more on the board. Pressure, ball is up, good high punt taken cleanly at the 35. And this return is going to be backpedaled and looking for additional space is Sam East. down, but into Rushmoor territory, about the 35-yard line on the return.
Strong return there again from East. But going back to what you said about Gretzinger being on fire, I spoke to Jack Mullins, the wide receiver coach, on practice on Thursday. And the key elements they wanted to work on today was to get Gretz out of the pocket and really read the field and take the shorter routes and give the ball to our big players to make those big plays instead of having to force it down the field. So
the change of possession is at 6 minutes. 6 minutes for the change of possession.
It looks like they are, going on that plan, and it's working.
Yeah, nice insight there, Spencer. That's exactly what it looks like to me on the field. It is completing those short passes and then letting these athletes go to work against these defenders. We've got another injury. As you can hear, we are in the Farnborough flight path, so special, so there might be some noises of flights that you can hear. Do you think that disappointment in Warsaw just acts as extra motivation for a team like the Aztecs? I mean, how disappointed were they not to make that a more competitive game?
Having something happen to you that isn't of your control, like it's not that you've forgotten your cleats or you've forgotten your gear. It's, you've turned up and there is no gear for you. So having on that has undoubtedly had an effect on the game. But yeah, I mean, I think losing in those environments, but putting up a respectable performance in those situations, I don't think there's a person on this roster who isn't motivated to really come back to the UK and focus fully on winning the back-to-back championship. So as a whole, yes, it's obviously disappointing, and I bet you Coach Pete is not liking that they've got another loss in Europe. But overall, I think the team morale, weirdly, has probably gone up. Losing together, it does something to you, brings you together, and now having a clearer goal, you're only focusing on one thing, it might be, an even bigger result from what previously was thought so.
Absolutely right. The injury from the punt has now been dealt with, and medics are with that player as Gretzinger's back on the field following the return from East. This one, Gretzinger will keep it himself on a run option, and he'll find some space there. Gretzinger looking for the corner, and a last shoestring tackle prevents him going into the end zone. Great feet from Gretzinger, and a great scamper sets them up on the 5-yard line.
Yeah, I don't think that's what the wide receiver coach Jack Mullins thought about getting Gretzinger out of the pocket, was running it himself. But as you can see here, you got a read option play. He's reading that DN. The DN's gone in for the running back, so he's going to fly. And Gretzinger's got some legs on him, and he's showing that. Great block out here by number 11, Harry Buckland, showing his physicality, getting those extra yards. But unfortunately, Gretzinger pulled down before the end zone.
So Gretzinger doing it through the air, doing it with his feet. This time, go to a Wildcat formation with Brees, who will keep the ball left-hand side, running behind that offensive line. Touchdown, Brees, from the Wildcat. And that is the 4th touchdown Aztecs have put on the board.
Yeah, there's not much you can say about stopping that. I don't know how many O-linemen are there, and you've got Sean Vaughan out in front, a.k.a. The Beef, making a key block there, which Brees has cut inside. You can see that on that replay. Reese has read the outside shoulder, the kick-out block from Sean Vaughan, and he's broken it inside. A pretty simple touchdown.
That big offensive line and the great blocking of Sean Vaughan, making it easy for Brees to take that one in untouched. Aztecs did some interesting things on the extras against the blitz, where they've gone for 4 straight up kicks this time round, and they've nailed all 4 of them.
Yeah, quite rudimentary going for the PATs. Pete Jones is known for mixing it up a little bit, but I think it's going to be to build the confidence of Ollie Luck. As the departure from Reese Cunningham, we want to give Ollie Luck as much experience as he can leading into these bigger games and into the playoffs. So I think that's probably the reason why they're just going for the regular PATs and do it instead of spicing it up a little.
The time of the score was 5:06. 5:06 was the time of the score.
Now, you've played in all sorts of positions in Europe and in the UK, but last year you were the kicker for this team, the Aztecs team, as well as playing defensive back. And I'm interested to know, as you how you deal with those pressure situations. Ollie Luck coming in, replacing a really good kicker, and now you've got a new situation for him. Is he looking to impress today, or just do the basics, get the mechanics right?
Yeah, I mean, there's only the one thing you can do as a kicker is do the basics right, because you've only got one mechanism to go through. But there are a few variables you've got to take into consideration, you know, the snap, the wind, etc., even though you're only on the 2-yard line. But yeah, I think Ollie is looking to prove himself to Coach Pete to be the consistent kicker for the rest of the year now.
Macy takes this one back for Rushmoor. Again, managed to pick up 10 yards or so on the return before that big special teams unit arrives for the Aztecs. And Rushmoor again will start the drive in their own half. What do you think they're looking to get out of this next drive?
I think it's the same again. You know, let's build momentum. Let's see if we can move the ball. They can prove that they move the ball down the field with those out routes. They've clearly found a weakness, or they want to attack the weakness with this corner route. So, like I said, they've just got to complete a few and then see how they adjust and gain confidence. Because I think with a bit of confidence, this could shift a little bit.
No DC. James Wilford for the Aztecs is watching the girls play for GB as Rushmoor will go down the middle and almost intercepted. It looked a moment like that receiver was going to be open, but Eddie Onamadi just shut it down quickly.
Yeah, the veteran Eddie Onamadi there, known across the UK, a GB talent, leading tackler of the Bristol Aztecs defence, and he'll have you know, and he hasn't paid me to say this, but he has 100% of all tackles this year. So he hasn't missed one yet, and he's clearly showing his knowledge there to get across the field and break up that pass.
Who's keeping those statistics? Eddie keeping those himself, that 100%. We'll check the footage. No, I trust him. Who would argue with him? What a great player. Flint goes to the left-hand side, intercepted, no! Dropped. Nearly a pick that time for
Tom Seeger.
Tom Seeger. Thanks, Spence. But no interception.
Yeah, Tom Seeger, the other safety there, as I said earlier on in the game, slipped right through his hands. He won't be happy with that, as you can see from the frustration. However, a stop is a stop on defense, and it does bring up 3rd down, and they can apply more pressure.
So we're saying James Wilford not coaching today. He's watching the Great Britain Lions play. So
illegal formation, 5 men in the backfield by the offence. 5 yards, remains 2nd down.
So the assistant defensive coordinator, Ryan Morton's calling the plays, doing a great job so far. No score on the board. He's got Rushmoor behind the sticks again.
Yeah, absolutely, you know, and he's not working with all of his guns either. He's only got 5 linebackers. You've got 3 key linebackers that are out today.
This one also nearly intercepted as Rushmoor trying to get something going on 2nd and long. Ball was intended for Materiosis again, but incomplete and went through an Aztecs player's hands as well.
Yeah, and back on the Coach Morton there. He's not an alien to the defensive line. He's played for years for Aztecs, but he's also been a DC at the Bristol Barracuda University team. You know, they've been on an up-and-coming rise from the lower ranks of the Uniball League to being a recognised name on the scene, and he also called the Wembley Stallions game, so not his first time.
Using that depth at the coaching position as well as the players, as this one goes deep down the sideline, incomplete again. It's the same hook up that Flint is trying to get, but no joy. Good defending there.
Yeah, it seems like the Aztecs defense have cottoned on now. They know that that is a clear weakness, and looks like they've applied at least some pressure to the receivers on the line. So they've gone up and pressed the receiver at the line to give him a harder day getting off and getting into that opening space. But it brings up the 4th down.
With Flint coming in just recently into the Rushmoor team, we'll have to see how much depth they've got in their playbook, because it's quite difficult as a quarterback coming in to be able to run the whole playbook, because it takes so long to learn. So we'll have to see whether they can change it up at all to try and get this ball moving, as they will punt again in Q1. Ball is up and short, bounces over East's head that time, picked up to his left-hand side, now looking to outrun the coverage. East will just get bumped out of bounds at about the 40-yard line.
Got to give it the 45 there. He's done very well to chase down Sam East. He's taken a good angle and made sure that he didn't get any more yards than he should have. But quite tricky for Sam East here to pick up a ball. You know, as an American, I think he's used to some clean punts, but that bobbly kind of British-style grubber kick He's difficult to pick up. You know, he's got bouncing everywhere.
The change of possession is 4
well.
minutes. The change of possession is 4 minutes.
He's done really well, and you know, got something out of it to put Gretzinger and the offense in a very good position.
That was Chris Sporton, the defensive lineman for Rushmoor, that ushered East out of bounds to save any more yards. Rushmoor crowding that line of scrimmage now, looking to see whether they can put some pressure on Gretzinger. Gretzinger drops back. There is some pressure coming off the edge. Goes deep over the top. Caught! Beautiful catch that time by Wimmer again.
Yep, there's Gretz's go-to. A long, deep fade route here as we bring it up on the replay. Wimmer showing his pace, showing his catching ability. Steps back in the pocket, loads up, lovely pass again. Wimmer's got a bit of disruption from the DB, but is able to adjust his body and bring that ball in. Lovely hand-eye coordination there to bring in the catch over the shoulder.
Takes the ball deep into Rushmoor half. Just outside the red zone now is Gretzinger. This time with Bauer in the backfield, and he'll get the handoff, but good contact that time from the defensive line of the Knights. Jack Ward coming in with the tackle.
Yep, Manuel Bauer spelling Brice here. Tries to run off. Just a good job by the D-line filling up those gaps. A tough one for the first run, but I'm sure he's going to bring some more energy to the next one.
Svet Krastev, who's the linebacker for the Rushmoor
injury
Knights.
is taking place at 3:04. 3:04 is the time of the injury.
Krastev's gone down, linebacker for the Rushmoor Knights. We hope he's okay, clutching his leg at the moment. But yeah, is it business as usual for Bristol so far?
Seems so. Big offensive weapons and then dominant run-stopping defense, it looks like. Speaking to Wilf in the week as well, Coach Wilf, that is, James Wilford, what they wanted to work on since the Warsaw game was taking away those big splash plays, and they've been caught out a little bit on the big seam routes through the middle. So what they've done is they've changed up to a cover 2 tamper defense, which basically puts 2 defensive backs in the shallow areas and also have 2 safeties instead of the traditional 1. That takes away those seam routes and also drops a linebacker a little bit, so that it puts pressure on the QB to thread a needle rather than to hit a very, very open person. So it seems that they've done that today. I haven't seen any seamed up the middle, but it has exposed the outsides, which is a weakness of cover 2, of course. So I don't know where they got their information, Rushmoor, but as we see some very physical work from Wimmer there on the block. Yeah, it seems like the defense are implementing their new strategy on defense, and I mean, it's going pretty well.
Krastev's still down here, and he's getting attention from the medics from Rushmoor, so we have a bit of a delay in the game here. Do you know, I'm filling in for Andrew Morgan on the play-by-plays. Andrew will be back in 2 weeks' time for the return match. That one will be played in Bristol. And Andrew's actually not doing the commentating today because he is watching the Great Britain team, ladies team, take on the German team. Tough going for our Lionesses at the moment, 26-0 down against Germany. But James Wilf also supporting his sister who's playing in that game. Lots of connections between the British American football community and what we're seeing on the field as a product in the girls' game.
Yeah, and getting that first cap for Great Britain is, you know, a phenomenal feeling. I had my first cap back against, I believe it was Italy in Milan, and it was a very, very big moment for me in my younger days, I'd say. But I can tell that she's probably nervous, but also loving the moment, and it's great to see that James has gone there to support her as well.
Does feel amazing to play for your country. Really different feel and energy about it. As Gretzinger comes back on the field after the injury, it's now 2nd and 10. Aztecs looking to get another one. Gretzinger will sling this one to the end zone. Just over Sammy's head that time. Incomplete.
Yeah, Gretzinger looking to utilize Sammy's pace here against a linebacker. Sammy's just beating the DB, but Gretz just couldn't put it in the pocket. I'm sure he'll want to take another shot at that one, but we'll see here on the next play.
Third down for the Aztecs, looking for their 5th score. Getting closer and closer to that end zone. We've had 4 different scorers already. See who Gretzinger picks out this time. He's got twins to the top, twins to the bottom, 1 running back in the field. He'll go to the flat, but again, that one's too tall, so 2 slightly inaccurate passes from Gretzinger.
Yeah, it looks like Gretzinger's a bit flustered here. But I'm sure his O-line will bring him in and say, hey, come on now, it's time to focus up and execute, because we don't want to lose these opportunities to score plenty of points against this team.
4th down, not much point bringing Ollie Luck on in this situation, Spence. So I think they're going to keep the Aztecs out on the field, see whether they can convert. They've got about 9 yards to go.
Yeah, it's all about making that statement, you know, putting up as much points as they can. So let's see what they do here.
Bauer in the backfield. Gretzinger will go to the air again to Wimmer, who tries to catch the ball underneath the defensive back. Decent coverage, incomplete.
Yeah, I've just looked up at the trees here, and there does seem to be a bit of wind swirling around, so I think this one got caught up in it. But Wimmer makes a really, really elite level adjustment here. So he's hand fighting with the DB, goes the other side. Look at that. So
Change of possession at 2:28. The possession changed at 2:28.
Unfortunately, he didn't pull it in there, but that would have been an amazing catch if he did.
Absolutely. DB did well there, I felt, against a tall receiver as well. Did his job, was step for step. Got in the eye line of the receiver, making it difficult to catch the ball. And that will maybe lift the spirits a little bit, because the Aztecs don't score on that drive. Rushmoor trying to get something going on the ground. Again, that swarming defense all over it. Linebackers get there quickly. Casper Henfrey was one of them.
Yeah, the DC for Rushmoor, James Martin, made a point about it's not about the result today. It's about those individual performances and individual plays that they really do execute well. And that DB can hold his head high there to say that he fended off an American import receiver there.
Absolutely right, and it is those individual stories. You come into a game like this in Rushmoor's position, not thinking they necessarily got enough to surprise or upset the Aztecs, but they do want good individual performances. Flint will get picked for a 2nd time, and that's down the sideline again. It's Tom Seeger, the safety, who comes over to make the interception. He threatened it earlier, and this one he got hold of.
Yeah. He's got a 2nd opportunity to make the play, and he does so here. So you can see here they're going to try the flat, and Tom Seeger's read it there, read the QB's body language and got there before the receiver tries to make another effort, get some extra yards, but gets brought down. So a good rally there by Rushmoor offense to make the tackle, but Tom Seeger's going to be very happy with that one.
Just went to Rickard one more time, and the Aztecs wise to it. Easy to read defender if you're going to the same receiver each time. So Gretzinger in great field position for the Aztecs on the interception. This will be Brees looking for the edge, and Brees will take it in for the touchdown. The Aztecs score their 5th and the 2nd for Brees.
A pretty rudimentary running play here as we bring up the replay. You'll see it's an off tackle, wide zone, with the fullback leading the way, and nobody needs to be touched, just straight into the end zone. A well executed play by the Aztecs O-line there.
That O-line, so tough to deal with. Even without David Pemberton on the line today, it's James Viner that's playing right guard rather than Pemberton.
Yeah, and a bit about Viner. It's his first time to start this game today. He's actually, although he started for the Aztecs, he's well known within the Cardiff Cobras university team, and actually was nominated the Fel Un, which, for those unknowns, that's actually Welsh for As One, the Clubman Award. So you could even say it's like the NFL Man of the Year award for the Cardiff Cobras. Well, the Viner got voted this, which is a very high honour within the Cardiff Cobras community. So that's quite a lovely, cherry to add to his achievements this year is to actually have his first start.
Absolutely, and does a great job there. Brees now with 2 scoring touchdowns on the ground, so that offensive line not skipping a beat, even with Pemberton out. Viner coming in and doing a great job.
Yeah, Pete Jones has done a great job this offseason to recruit as many O-linemen as he can, because they really, really want to let Brees get unlocked and have all the gaps they need to really push the ball on the ground.
So 5 touchdowns, about a minute and a half left in Q1. And the Aztecs very, very much in charge here. As the kick goes into the air once more. Caught this time by the running back, Salu Tom, who gets a good pickup. So a shorter kick this time from Luck. Rushmoor coming out for another possession. Flint will want to put that interception behind him.
Yeah, shorter kick, but a few more yards that Flint can use to drive the ball up the field. I think the wind is actually in Ollie's face there, so maybe I got caught up in the wind and didn't go as far as they want. But that is the end of the timeout, I believe.
Yeah, the wind is definitely picked up here. Blowing from right to left, so into the Aztecs direction. And it looks like we're getting very close to the end of Q1. We'll give you a shout in a second, and we'll be heading off down the field to speak to Wilf. So at the end of first, let's give you a score update. At the end of Q1, it is Bristol Aztecs 35, Rushmoor Knights 0, and we are going to head to the field for an interview. Wilf's got one of the players, I believe.
Thanks again, Carl. Yeah, a bit of an unceremonious end to the quarter there, but we're straight into the break, and Idrissa Fofana's going to be alongside me for this. Unfortunately, no longer able to take part in the game, but let's focus on the bits that did happen in that first quarter. Some massive defensive moments.
Definitely, I think our D-line stepped up. As you can see, we've got 3 picks so far, so that the defensive backs are doing their job. We need more. I've challenged X. I told him at the start of the game, I need 3 picks from you, right? So you owe me 2 more.
Seriously big ask, but let's see if those 2 more are still owed in the locker as we head into the second quarter. Thanks for speaking to us.
Amazing, thank you.
Thanks, Wilf. Great to have the players live and just get their reflections and thoughts as the game is going on.
And also the players loving to have their moment in the spotlight too, with little interviews here and there.
Great to hear from them. It wouldn't be a production without the players, coaches, the team, and everyone putting in the effort that they do to make this organisation what it is, national champions, and we're really grateful to hear from them. 2nd and 9 for Rushmoor, trying to put something together. We've not seen this from Rushmoor. It's incomplete. They tried a little trick play, the pitch to Matariosis, but he couldn't get the ball to the receiver he was looking for.
Yeah, the QB to QB connection has come alive here, not as a wide receiver QB. You can see he's got a little option play here, but it's an option pass, which he's chosen to take. But it seems that Tom Seago is really covering receiver 80, which is Harry Butcher. Looks like Tom Seago did enough on the coverage to thwart that effort, but Rushmoor digging deep in the playbook.
They have to, don't they? They've got to try and surprise Bristol, who have now got those 2 interceptions. So give them something different. Flint will go to the air and incomplete again. That's good coverage that time from Fred Smith on the Aztecs.
Yeah, Fred, linebacker, one of the younger guys of the Aztecs defense here. You can see he's reading the receiver. He hasn't bit on any of the double moves. It looks like he's running a sort of whip route there and just hasn't executed it properly, but good coverage from Fred Smith, yes.
Just like that, Rushmoor in trouble again at the beginning of Q2, bringing up a 4th and 9 at their own 40-yard line.
A difficult punt into the wind here as well, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, good shout, Spence. That wind definitely picked up, as we say. Chris Sporton is the guy on the punting duties for Rushmoor. This is a spiraling kick. It will be picked up by Onamadi, who's taking it to the 45-yard line of Aztecs, which is where they start their next drive. So good return, really. The net result of that is about 12 yards for Rushmoor. Not a great punt.
Yeah, as we mentioned, it's into the wind. Didn't really connect very well with it, but Sam East did a great job coming up to it and taking it. It's quite a brave action to take.
The change of possession was at 13:30. The change of possession was at 13:30.
Yeah, a brave action to take, to run into the fire, if you will. All those people running at you and you coming up to take the ball. Very brave, but a very experienced player, so you wouldn't expect anything else.
Yeah, I spent some time with head coach of the NFL Academy, Steve Hagan, and he was telling me when they have their punt returners, they distract them by throwing things at them and hitting them with, balls and all sorts of things to try and distract them as much as they can so they can make those sort of catches on these returns. This one is Sauer, who's going to find some room, looking to straight arm a player, and the Rushmoor defenders having to rally back. Pick up of 15 for Bauer, sorry.
Yeah, I think that's the second rush from Emmanuel Bauer. If you remember back to the last quarter, he got stopped for a no gain, but he's definitely made a statement there with this one. If you look at the right-hand side of the line, he follows his blocks on a power. Yeah, loads of space there. Harry Buckland making a block out there for his running back 2, representing the wide receivers. An overall good run. You got Luke Thomas on the right side there. Very powerful O-line, but great run.
So Bauer making his presence felt. Brees has had 2 touchdowns. Bauer looks like he's got this drive. He's to Gretzinger's right-hand side as they line up 1st and 10 on the 35. This will go to Wimmer again, and he won't get away from that Rushmoor tackler, holding on for dear life there till colleagues arrive to drag him down.
Yeah, well rallied by the Rushmoor defense here. They've obviously done their scouting, because Aztecs do run a lot of screens to those outside receivers, and it seems that they got a lot more bodies there than the Aztecs could get, so they stopped the effort.
Pick up of about 4, so it's going to be 2nd and 6 for Gretzinger. Opening drive of Q2 for the Aztecs. Gretzinger looks initially to the flat, then over the middle, caught, and a good reception that time to Chris Green.
Yeah, lovely possession pass there to a veteran Aztec, Chris Green. A nice little hitch route over the middle. Gretz doing a great job to make the linebacker go wide with Emmanuel Bauer into the flats, and then just deliver a nice easy ball, 1st down.
Green moves the sticks for the Aztecs. Bunch set to the top. Single receiver at the bottom for Gretzinger. Both backs in. Gretzinger looking to his over the middle, now running out of time, looking to his left-hand side. Still looking to get it to the end zone. Schwimmer with an amazing catch. Flag goes in. Incredible catch from Swimmer in the back of the end zone.
Add another highlight to the Wimmer highlight reel of today's game.
Pass interference by number 11 on the offense. 15 yards from the previous spot, still 1st down.
It's unfortunate there from Harry Buckland to get a flag against him, especially with that athletic show. Here we are on the replay, so a doubles to the right here. Gretz looks at his first reads, hasn't got them, has to adapt. Good block there from Bunce to allow him to Gretz to get into space. And Gretz is going to his old faithful Wimmer, and what a grab that is. Fully extended for any wide receiver, young wide receiver in the BAFA League. If you want to look like what a fully extended catch is, then there you are.
Real shame that was taken off. Still amazing highlight.
I'm sure that I'll find that onto the highlight reel.
Wimmer with an amazing athletic catch. But it won't stand. Knights with a pushed the Aztecs back with that penalty 15 yards as Gretzinger looks to his left-hand side again, and he'll roll, being chased now from behind. Can he feel the feed? He does manage to still keep going. Gretzinger now cutting back to his right-hand side, now to his left, and finally down. Well, Rushmoor being run around like the Keystone Cops as Gretzinger puts on a show with his legs again.
Key the Benny Hill theme tune. That was a bit of a frantic run there from Gretz, running for his life. D-line get through here. Gretz does a great job just staying calm, but using athleticism, stays in bounds there. Oh, great job with the feet. Sneaks in, and a good game with a lot of energy, but yeah, a frantic first down, but a first down all the same. No, my correction. Second down.
Yeah, he's still short of the sticks. He was running as much laterally as he was north and south. Dan Hatcher finally brought him down for the Knights. Gretzinger then, 2nd and 5, looks to his left-hand side, quick out to Wimmer. Wimmer now looking to pick up, blocks it all the way to the end zone. Wimmer takes it in, and he deserves it after the reception that got taken off the board.
Yeah, I'm sure Rian Hudson keyed that up from the offensive coordinator to give him a second chance at that touchdown. But that is an example of how the screen should have worked on earlier on in the quarter. You got your blocks out front, really well executed. Keanu Ebanks leading the way, and that is someone you want to run behind. He's a giant guy, and as a cornerback, I would get the hell out of the way of that.
Brilliantly executed play again from the Aztecs here, who really are putting on a bit of a clinic here in Farnborough. Ollie Luck converts his 6th extra point already.
Yeah, and here's the replay here. I mean, Wimmer doesn't need to do much here. Great blocks from the O-line that are pulling out from their natural positions. It's called a rocket screen. You know, we throw it out to the receiver, who does a little shimmy upfield and comes back with the left tackle and left guard leading up the field, which is a very,
the score was at
9:53.
The score was at 9:53.
A very scary proposition if you're a DB when you've got a left guard running straight at you.
Yeah, it used to be you could cut them, didn't it, as a DB? You knew you had the choice that you could take them at the knees maybe, but that's no longer the case. So you have to either get out of the way or take them on. And as you say, that's a tough ask.
And as Ebanks is here with a big smile on his face as he walks past the booth.
I'm gonna sit on his shoulders in a minute. He's that close to me. Give me a good view.
Very proud of that play, I can see.
Did a great job, that offensive line. The real power behind this Aztecs team.
I'm not sure about you, Carl. I got a bit scared there.
Return at this time for Rushmoor, trying to find some space to his left-hand side, but again, that kick coverage unit, rapid, do the job quickly. We'll bring it out to about the 27 where Rushmoor will take over again. We've seen a little bit more from Rushmoor in terms of trying a bit of a trick play, and I think that's what they're going to need to do. They do need to be on the sideline, even being creative in the moment and going in saying, look, let's try this, let's try what we can to get this ball moving.
Yeah, when you're going up against a defense that's smart and a DC that's smart, you know, running the same play over and over again and trying to allow it to work or trying to find it to work is difficult. So they're going to have to dig deep into the playbook here. We've still got something to play for, you know, a bit of dignity and to get those first downs, but let's see what they bring out here.
So Flint's got two running backs, both to his left and to his right. They try and get something going again with Salu Tom from a kind of pro formation of two running backs in to get them blocked, but no dice, so fast in.
Yeah, Van Trazanis there coming off the edge and thwarting that outside zone run. You can see here, good push, gets inside. The fullback misses him and he's just got a clear shot at the running back for a loss.
Behind the sticks again to Rushmoor find themselves, and they're throwing into the wind now is Flint. Same formation, he's got three targets out there, running back to his left, one to his right. Aztecs send a blitzer off the edge and Flint goes straight down. Sack, ball is out. We'll see what the referees say here, whether the ball came out before the knee was down. Looks like Rushmoor will probably retain possession, but again, relentless pressure from that defense.
Yeah, creating absolute chaos in the backfield there. When we get the replay, we'll see who exactly initiated that chaos. But to be perfectly honest with you, it looked like there were at least 4 orange jerseys at the ball at the point of the QB taking it. So, yeah, the D-line really stepping up. And as Coach Morton mentioned, here's that replay here. Yeah, George Grimes off the edge causing havoc, and then the rest of the guys are there to rally to the tackle. So, an amazing job by the D-line.
Woodward in there as well. It's Flint now, 3rd and 20, running for his life. Flint manages to avoid one tackler and another. Flint doing a good job down the sideline. Picks up a gain of 10, but takes a punishment for it on the sideline. Loses his helmet, does the young Henry Flint, but he took on a couple of Aztecs there and picked up some yards.
Yeah, I think we actually need the production guys to have the Benny Hill theme queued up, but a great job there to gain back some yards. You know, he's obviously rushed out, he's got none of his reads, and he's just got to escape. Yeah, many D-line, but he's done a great job there to get back to the sticks. Took a hit there late from what looked like Fred Smith. Might have been borderline out of bounds, but the ref seems to call it legal, so brings up 4th.
Henry Flint avoiding some of the best defensive linemen in the league there. He skipped out of 2 tackles. Brings up 4th down, however, he didn't have the juice to get to where he needed to. Punter will put it high up. And this looks to have some good space for a return. This is Sam East again, putting it on and all the way to the house. Sam East returns a punt return for a touchdown. Aztecs score again.
Yeah, that's very demoralising there to be stopped in that fashion on offense and then to have a punt returned. It was a good punt, to be fair, kicking into the wind again, quite deep, got him to at least past the halfway line. But Sam East, we know, a very, very dynamic and exciting player here, reading the blocks. They've obviously schemed this up very, very well. I'd say it's quite a bit of low energy there from Farnborough, maybe from the Knights, but either way, Sam East taking it into the end zone and adding more scores to the board.
So he was the first scorer for the Aztecs back in Q1, gets one in Q2 as well, does Sam East. 48 to Bristol, make that 49. Kick is good. 7 touchdowns in the first half. Clock will be running, or if it won't, the referees need to make that decision. The mercy rule coming in at 35 points. And we're watching just a powerhouse of a team take on the Rushmoor Knights, who are a very good team, but just can't stay with the Aztecs. Sam East taking it in for 6 on the punt return. So we've had scores from special teams, scores from offense.
6:54.
Not had a score from the defense yet, and maybe they will want to get one on the board as well.
I'm sure number 0, Eddie Adamade, is asking to be on the field for every down to make that happen. Currently leading the teams on interceptions as well. So, I mean, we've still got a half of a quarter left, so 2.5 quarters to go. As you said, running clock, so that will be heavily reduced. But yeah, it's tough for Rushmoor in this spot, but they can still bring back some of their dignity and, you know, really build up some momentum going into those games where they do actually have a chance against the lower teams.
Kick is up, picked up, and again run into a wall. To be fair to him, Harvey Macy taking the brunt of those hits on these special teams plays, but keeps getting up, keeps coming back.
Yeah, looks like to be a mini wrecking ball, Macy there. He's taking a few good kicks and really running to the pile and trying to enforce his will on the Aztecs defenders. So hats off to him.
So Rushmoor with the young quarterback Henry Flint back on the field, who made a couple of those defensive linemen miss. We saw in that last play on that 3rd and long, picked up a gain of 10 yards. As soon as you get behind the sticks, though, so difficult against the Aztecs. But if he'd have made that play on an earlier down, you know, maybe Rushmoor can start picking up some first downs. Flag, and I think it's going to be a free play for Flint if he can find somebody to throw it to. Eventually just has to get rid of it. Another flag goes down, so we'll have to see what that is. 2 flags. Looks like one of them is going to be offside on the defense. We'll see what the one on the far side is. Maybe a late hit.
Yeah, Henry Flint doing a good job there with his snap count to get the Aztecs D-line to jump offside. Pity they couldn't.
Offside, defense, 5 yards, still first down.
So yeah, here's the replay of that, Spencer.
Yeah, Charles Conson jumping offside. So good job by Henry Flint to get him to jump offside, but then not really enough wherewithal, enough knowledge there for the receivers to get open, because it is actually a free play.
Flint with Macy in the backfield. He'll hand it to Macy, who will make a man miss. Macy makes a couple of Aztecs miss and is close to that first down yardage. They're going to move the sticks. So Macy, who's slow getting up, gets the first down. He's the guy who's been making all those kick returns as well. He's going to limp his way off to the sideline. But first down for the Rushmoor Knights. They had the penalty for 5 yards and a 5-yard pickup. Move the sticks.
Yeah, it seems like all those big hits are adding up there for Macy. Looks like his left ankle is the injured area there as he limps off, but let's see what his replacement can do.
Flint, 1st and 10 at his own 45. Low snap. He'll go play action and drill it, and caught. Nice pitch and catch reception made to that man, Matt Rickard, who's Flint's #1 target.
Yeah, we can see here, gets off the line, finds that gap behind the linebackers and threads the needle. Great throw and a lovely athletic grab there over the middle. Tough one to bring in those over the middle when you've got safeties like Tom Seeger and Eddie Adamadi lurking around. So hats off to Matt Rickard showing his GB credentials there.
Ricard lined up to the bottom of your screen now as that #2 receiver. Aztecs blitz, and Flint immediately under pressure, and down he goes. Sack was from Billy Elliott by the looks of things on the Aztecs.
Yeah, Billy Elliott picking up the pieces, but it was Casper Henry, 59, the linebacker, who comes through on the bottom of your screen there. Comes through and just strips the handoff. I think that was supposed to be a run play, but yes, a blitz called up by Aztecs and causing chaos again and forcing the loss of yards.
6-yard loss. That's that defensive line. Billy Elliott, that former UE player, getting his sack on the board. Snap on 2nd and long. Flint looking for some space. He's going to go down again, but he manages to get the ball away to Salu, who will be picked up and dumped for a gain of nothing. So a lot of action, but Flint does a great job to get the ball to Salu, Tom, but no joy as the Aztecs right there anyway.
As we watch that again, a little bit of athleticism shown here by Henry Flint. Look at this. Nice little side path. Although being tackled by 2 guys, he's managed to find a receiver. You know, there's some skill here.
Definitely is. Flint doing everything he can to make yards. Might have picked up half a yard on that, but certainly relentless, this pass rush, as they come from him again, and down he goes, straight down. That's the 2nd sack in this series for the Bristol Aztecs. And they really are punishing Flint. It seemed like it was just one of those conference calls, I'll meet you at the quarterback.
Yeah, look, I don't know who you award the sack to. Maybe it's David Shawarma there coming off the edge, but 3 guys in your face, there's not much that any athletic person can do there. So I feel for Henry Flint there having to deal with that pressure, but hats off to the Aztecs showing dominance here on defense.
Out come Rushmoor to punt again.
Looks like a new punter on the field as well.
At 2 minutes and 6 seconds, 2:06, first timeout, Knights.
So the Knights take a timeout and just get the personnel right on the 4th down. Don't know how many punts there's been from Rushmoor, but maybe the original punter needs to rest his leg, because it's been tough going for those kickers.
Yeah, they add up. I'm not sure if it was Macy actually, so he might have actually hurt his leg on one of those run plays. But if it is, then we wish him the best and hope he comes back to the game, because he was actually one of the more exciting Rushmoor players. But yeah, the backup punter is in.
Yeah, well spotted, Spencer. This is a low snap as well. Aztecs will look to get on it. It's a high kick that goes about 12 yards and is now looking to get a return. Aztecs pick it up. It was Josh Ricketts, the linebacker, that picked it up on the special teams play and managed to return it 10 yards, and it goes right back to the original spot of the kick.
Pretty sure the special teams coordinator would not have wanted that to happen. However, give Josh Ricketts a chance to run the ball into someone and he
At
shall take it.
1:53, 1:53, this is the 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning.
So 2 minutes to go, the score here, Bristol 49, Rushmoor nothing. Bristol have got the ball again in great field position. Stay around for the half. We've got a really exciting preview of a documentary coming up that will show you some of the behind the scenes stuff that go on in the Bristol Aztecs when they travel abroad. We'll have a preview of that documentary at halftime, so don't go away. Looking forward to hear more about that from Wilf and the Aztecs team. Gretzinger going deep at the 2 minute to Wimmer, just over his head, streaming down the sideline. He'd beaten the defensive backs, but Gretzinger threw it over his head.
Yeah, Wimmer clearly open there and clearly forcing the ball to him, as with only 2 minutes left on a running clock, get Wimmer another score, but unfortunately Gretzinger there overcooking the throw a little bit. I think Pandemonium in Poland as a tag for the upcoming video.
You've got that inside knowledge there, Spencer. Pandemonium in Poland, that gives you an idea of what it might be about. We're excited to show you it. Gretzinger, 2nd and 10, under 2 minutes. We'll get it to Wimmer on a quick screen, and Wimmer will cut out of another tackle, working against the grain of the defense. Ran a long way for a gain of about 4 yards.
Yeah, Jack Levin, the linebacker there on the tackle, did well to get the big Wimmer down.
3rd and 6, Gretzinger going fast. He will go into the flat again. This one caught by Sam East, who's already got a touchdown on the board, and it will move the sticks and out of bounds. We'll have to check whether that clock is going to run.
It does continue to run, so although tactically it's the right thing to do in regular circumstances, that would be the move.
1 minute 20 remains in the half, 1:20 in the half.
Going to check whether they have this mercy rule at this Prem level, because we're getting the clock calls from the referee, so we will check that at half time. Gretzinger looking to go to Sam East in the end zone, in and out of the hand. Some good tight coverage that time from Ollie Akinsanmi.
Yeah, as we talked earlier, defensive coordinator James Martin looking at those individual plays, the individual performances and individual experiences. That will be one there for young Ola.
Tough man to defend. Akinsanmi does a good job. 2nd and 10. Gretzinger continues to fire into the end zone. Again looks to his left-hand side, and that's well defended again by the Rushmoor Knights defenders. We'll get a number for you in a second. I think it was Akinkanmi again, so back-to-back plays from Ola Akinkanmi, and now he's gone down on one knee, which is a shame to see. But here's the replay of some good defending.
Yeah, so it looks like Gretz is trying to target Ollie Luck here. He's doing a deep curl. Oh, he's come through a bang-bang play there, but deemed legal, no pass interference there. Looks like maybe a knee bash.
Yeah, I don't know what Akinkunmi's gone down. He's still down. He's on one knee, so he's whether Ollie just in terms of getting up just trod on his
This
leg.
injury is at 109. The injury is at 109. There is no Zap 10 as the clock was already stopped for the incomplete pass.
Well, yeah, Spencer, you're seeing something there on the film.
Yeah, it looks like his left wrist must have just collided with Ollie Luck there as he's broken up the pass. Yeah, he's there clutching his left wrist, so...
Well, it'd be a massive shame to lose him after those two back-to-back plays. He will take a jog to the sideline.
I might even just have spotted an out-of-place finger. That would be unfortunate.
Would indeed. It happens a lot in American football, and sometimes you don't even notice it till the play's over and you look and see that, you know, you've got a dislocation or something's happened. 3rd and 10 for Gretzinger, who's not lost his appetite, still looking for more. 7 touchdowns on the board, 6 of them coming from this offensive machine. Gretzinger has Brees to his right, and then 4 receivers. He'll get this one short, and breaking tackles is Tom Bowering, and he will move the chains again and out of bounds.
Tom Bowering, one of his first grab of the day. A nice little hitch route. Obviously, the Rushmoor Knights are playing a bit
59 seconds in the half, 5-9 seconds in the half.
Rushmoor Knights playing conservatively, backing off, doing some deep coverage and allowing those underrights to be there. And Tom Bowering taking the yards.
Just under a minute left. Gretzinger looking for more points. This one short to Bowering. Bowering stiff arms one tackler, but Finn O'Shea holds on, does the defensive back to make the tackle on Bowering.
A great one-on-one tackle there for those youngsters looking at how to tackle.
At 51 seconds, 5-1 seconds, first time out, Aztecs.
Yeah, these are not small receivers, are they? Finn O'Shea does a nice job of just hanging on to Bowering's leg to bring him down, and Bowering had a good stiff arm on him as well. So sometimes as a defender you've got to fight that off, which is what he did. Aztecs take the time out because the player was tackled in bounds, so they stop the clock. No mercy from the Aztecs over the middle, and that's a nice hit for the incomplete pass. The safety, Achiga Biniri, makes the hit and denies what would have been probably another touchdown for Wimmer.
A lovely clean hit here. You know, hasn't targeted the head, kept his body low. I saw Wimmer line up over the slot there, and I thought it was a bit of a mismatch, so I kind of felt that Gretz was going to go there, but well covered by the safety there to block the pass.
So Rushmoor digging their heels in with less than a minute to go. Incomplete, clock stops, 3rd and 10. Gretzinger looks to his left, and now he'll take it himself, and down he goes. Maybe a pickup of a yard. Don't think it was a sack, but it was definitely some good defending from Chris Sporton.
A great effort here from Rushmoor Knights to stop the Aztecs getting into the end zone before the half. Some great efforts in tackles, some great efforts in coverage. Rushmoor really doing themselves, you know, some confidence here.
They are, and this is against the Aztec starters. They're not pulled anyone yet. You've got your Americans out, Gretzinger's out, Brees is out. So Rushmoor doing a good job. It's like Aztecs did pick up maybe a yard on that play. So
Offside by the defense, 5 yards, still 3rd down. Because the penalty was the only thing that stopped the clock, there will be
just hearing from the referee in terms of the clock, whether there'll be a runoff or not.
offside by the defence, 5 yards. Because the clock stopped for the penalty, it will go on the snap at the discretion of the Aztecs.
So that good play from Sporton's wiped off due to the penalty. Gretzinger turns what was a 1 yard gain into a 5 yard gain from the
That
penalty.
is 38 seconds. The clock stops at 38 seconds.
Through the penalty. That mercy rule, it's not been enforced. I want to check with the referees whether it applies. We're hearing from our production team that it will apply in the second half, but not in this first half.
As embarrassing as it sounds, I don't even know.
You can't know everything, Spence. I didn't know that either. Gretzinger then, 38 seconds left, trips to his right-hand side. He will go to the back of the end zone again. Just a little bit too tall. Think it was Wimmer again, right at that backside flag.
Yeah, a rare drop here, or a rare missed opportunity. It seems to go right through his hands. Okay, I'll
There's
give him
31 seconds in the half, 31 seconds in the half.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that it wasn't the cleanest of passes, especially in this windy environment, but for someone of Wimmer's experience, I'd expect him to bring that in.
Right at the pylon. Love the way Gretzinger uses the full depth of the end zone as well as the width. Stretches those defensive backs. But incomplete. Same formation. Empty set. Gretzinger goes left. Brees in the flat. Looking to make a move. Rushmoor defenders rally. That was 4th down. And Brees will get enough to convert for a fresh set. So Aztecs
at 25
seconds,
25 seconds, second timeout, Aztecs.
Hats off to Rushmoor linebackers here. That was Jack Levin on the tackle. They're really putting in the effort here to stop Aztecs in the red zone from scoring. You know, they had multiple attempts through the air and on the ground, and they haven't cracked yet.
Aztecs tried to get everything all at once. Now they're more pacey, as having to pace themselves, as this one will go to Brees, wide open. Touchdown for the 3rd time to Josh Brees in the end zone. Just a short little dump off pass, but no one was covering him, Spencer.
No, it didn't look like, but as Gretz has escaped the pocket there, he's extended the play, and as any defender will know, if you're in man coverage and the QB scrambles, it makes it so hard for you to maintain your coverage of your player. So that's what helped them there. Gretz did well, extending the time of the play, and managed to get someone open who was Josh Brees, and he'll just almost walk into the end zone.
He's got that 6th sense, hasn't he, Gretzinger? You know, he feels that pressure. He knows where to roll to, and always seems to know how much time he's got.
Yeah, you're right. It is almost like a 6th sense. I was unfortunate enough to play quarterback for 1 season back in Finland, and you do develop a sort of 6th sense as when the time gets to a certain point you haven't been tackled, you know, right, I probably should move now. And Gretz has obviously got college experience, as we see the pass there to Josh Brees. Nice and easy. But yeah, you do build up that 6th sense, if you will, and some have it better than others, but Gretz obviously has it.
Is there a position you haven't played, Spencer? We'll have to check.
My waistline would suggest I should play D-line or offense now, but O-line now, but I haven't played on the O-line or D-line.
There's still time. So the Aztecs put another one on the board. It's looking ugly for Rushmoor right now. They get to the 50 mark before the end of the half. 56 to Bristol, 0 to Rushmoor. We've seen some signs of life from Flint, and certainly the defense is balling out against this high-powered Aztecs offense to try and keep them out of the end zone, but it's relentless, the pressure that the Aztecs put on teams. So many different weapons to cover as Rushmoor try and make something happen on the return. Again, special teams unit very quick to get there, and the returner will go straight down to ground. George, well, we'll check actually who's in number 4 today. It is George Rhymes who makes the tackle.
Yeah, the Knights deal will be quite disappointed that they did manage to score the Aztecs offense, because they put up a great effort to really stop them. I think anywhere in the red zone, they were like 25 yards out, multiple attempts, screens, passes, runs, and they stopped them each time with some great one-on-one tackles, but you know, they managed to just squeeze in the end with what is a broken play almost, and you can't prepare for that.
We are at the half here in Farnborough. Bristol Aztecs up 56 points on Rushmoor. Knights haven't scored, and it's a tricky situation for them. We're going to look at some highlights, and then we're going to hand you down to the field. We're going to go back right to the beginning and look at some of these initial touchdowns. The first one going to Sam East, who was the first man on the board. Number of different scorers for this Aztecs team. It's certainly not a one-man show, is it, Spencer? There's all sorts of plays that they can get the ball to.
Yeah, I mean, they've scored on each element of the game here: special teams, defense and offense, and Gretz is definitely spreading the ball around. We've had Tom Barron, Odie Luck, Wimmer, Sam East, even Josh Brees. So yeah, everyone's getting a piece of the action here today.
That was Luck going in after the interception that set up that score. So complimentary football from the Aztecs. Next score went to that man Wimmer, his first of two that he's put on the board today. So tough to tackle, and he really put on a show with his feet here.
Yeah, an incredible show of athleticism here, showing his US pedigree. The handoff in itself was one element of it, but to repeat it 3 times and to run it, 65, I think, yards.
Then it was time for Josh Brees to run in out of the Wildcat. This was one of 2 back-to-back touchdowns, untouched. We gave that run to great blocking on the offensive line. Then it was turnover time again. This one picked off. He had to have 2 attempts at it, but finally managed to get one, did Tom Seeger. And that gave Brees another opportunity to put another one on the board. So these Aztecs at the end of Q1 had already got 5 scores. Heading into Q2, it was Wimmer for his second on the screen. Did a beautiful job following his blockers there, Spencer. And then it was the punt return of Sam East. Thought, I need some of this, in on some of this action. He'd already got a touchdown on offense. Decides to turn on the Jets and outruns the entire Rushmoor coverage unit for a punt return touchdown. And finally, in Q2, it was a cheeky little pass to Josh Brees from the rolling quarterback Gretzinger, who got it to Josh Brees, and that brought the score to what we have now at the end of Q2, 56-0. We're going to drop you, we're going to do something really exciting now, and we're going to show you a trailer of a documentary that's coming up. But first, we're going to hand to Wilf, and we're going to talk to, we're going to go straight into the trailer. So this is going to be exciting. I've been looking forward to this, Spencer. Let's have a look at the trailer on behind the scenes of Bristol Aztecs in Poland.
Like, what we're not going to do, yeah, we're not going to not play this game, yeah?
Let's go! Let's go!
Because if we don't play this game today, it's forfeited. So we have to play the game right. We're going to make do as best we can.
Everything that can go wrong has gone wrong, so...
well, some exciting stuff to look forward to after a pretty perilous adventure to Poland. And Keanu Ebanks is alongside me as well, who was over there in Poland. I mean, it's a crazy high standard, of course. You know, the Polish obsessed with the NFL, with American football. I mean, you must have felt a real atmosphere in and amongst the panic of trying to get things sorted before the game.
Yeah, it was exciting. You know, they had quite a few people there. I think it was like 2,000. I played with a few guys who were on that team before with Wrocław in the ELF, so some good football players over there.
And of course, you know, at what moment in the day, in the point of travel, did somebody first realise, oh no, we might have a bit of a problem here?
Well, I actually came on a different flight, and then I landed after these guys, and all I see is messages. Where's the stuff? The bags are here. They'll be here in 20 minutes. 20 minutes turned into an hour turned into a couple days, and then those days turned into weeks. Some people still don't have the stuff back yet.
It's crazy that they still haven't got it back. It's tough. It happens, of course, you know, in the world of international travel. It's tough, but yeah, I think that it's well established that the Aztecs did really well to regather, to straighten things out, and to get onto the field of play. What sort of like personal impacts do you think that had on the preparation? The fact that you had to scramble things together so quickly.
I think for some of the guys who haven't had the experience playing abroad, it was a little bit tougher. For myself and the guys who have played abroad, it was just another game. You know, it's a bit of more adversity. You get ready for the game the same way. You look after yourself, and you get ready to play a football game.
Well, it seems to have worn off as we're already heading into today. This is already the biggest win of the season in the league, of course, for the Aztecs. This is almost eclipsing the 62-0 away win from last campaign against the Rushmoor Knights as well. Coming into that half-time break, I mean, what were the messages, having already gone, 50-plus points ahead?
I mean, more so than anything, just don't take the foot off the gas, rotate the guys in who don't get that much playing time, but, everybody has to play and stay at the same standard and keep fighting, keep winning, and, don't let them come back in it.
It's a big squad. It's the biggest in the league, certainly the deepest in terms of quality with the players you can rotate. It must be pretty exciting knowing that you might swap out the QB or even go to a third string, and there's still going to be loads of talent out there.
Yeah, it's awesome seeing the young guys kind of get the playing time, and even when we get a second QB in Benzie, he's still solid. He put up 62 points against Nottingham in that friendly, so yeah, he's a good option to have.
And on the trailer, of course, we've seen, because, we're going to be covering the Bristol Aztecs all season, home and away, which is great. But that trip to Poland and the media attention surrounding European football, what kind of impact do you think that these European away days have on the British sport as a whole, not just the Aztecs, but, how important is it that British teams get out there, get their faces in front of cameras and perform on the international stage?
It's exciting. It makes our way towards, the pro level. A lot of guys have never played at a sort of level, had any sort of media attention before, so it's nice to see those guys kind of come to terms and see what it's like with the cameras on your face and things rolling. It's a little bit different, when you're streaming in front of 10,000, 20,000 people and 10,000 people in the stadium.
What do you think you need as a player to bridge the gap then between, playing on a field like this, we've already had a couple of conversations about it's tough ground, it's pretty exposed here compared to playing in a stadium like you did in Poland. What can you do to help the other guys who are perhaps less experienced as they look to sort of build up into that level?
You just kind of prep them for what it's going to be like. It's going to be loud. You may not be able to hear the snap count the same way. You have to practice those silent counts. But the biggest thing is don't let the noise affect you. No matter where you go, it's still a football game at the end of the day. The process is the same. You go get ready, you watch film, you practice, and then you just show up and ball out.
Carly, thanks so much for speaking to us, for taking up enough of your time when you head through to the huddle. Yeah, what a performance so far then by the Aztecs. They've put a huge score on already, and I'm joined by another player as well, Singer. How are you doing, Ethan? Well, what a performance so far. It's fair to say that might be your shift over, perhaps, for the next couple of quarters or so, but you must be pretty pleased with how things flowed out there.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy that a lot of guys got the ball. I still definitely could do a lot of things better. And it's stuff to work on, right? It's a good day out. It's a good second game after Warsaw, and we're getting the wheels turning once again.
I'm pretty certain that you've already eclipsed 400 yards thrown across the 3 games already. That's such a milestone to hit so early in the season. What do you put that freedom down to? How have you got so much space out there?
I have the best O-line in the country, and I got the best wide receivers in the country, and I got the best OC in the country. So, right, my life's pretty easy. I just have to go out there, throw the ball around, look good.
Yeah, that is great. I mean, it's a long away day, you know. It's for Bristol. You all travel as a unit, you all travel as a group, and I think that there's a concept that because of Bristol Aztecs has got the backing and the finance and, you know, the imports, that there might be some separation in the squad between some of those players who have been at the top of the game and some of the local guys who have been with the team for a while or who have come new to the program. But it doesn't seem like that's the case.
Oh, not at all. I mean, I've been here. This is my second year playing for the Aztecs, and some of these guys on this team are some of my closest friends that I have out here in the UK. And I mean, I was lucky enough to play football, you know, in California for Pomona Pitzer, and you know, Quentin and I were out there. And you know, at the end of the day, football makes a family, and you know, we're very lucky to be able to, you know, have the backing of the Aztecs and kind of create that family atmosphere. You know, coming to games, leaving the games, you know, making a stop at, you know, at a station on the way here and getting, you know, food and snacks. They're memories that's you're gonna hold forever. So it's nice.
Chatting about Quinton Wimmer, I mean, he's crossed over 200 rushing yards already, so early on in the season again. And that touchdown in the first half where he seemed to bundle his way through about 6 or 7 bodies. I mean, he is such a force out there.
Oh my God, he's pretty good at what he does. I mean, and I don't know if you guys probably couldn't hear it on the stream, but he made that first move and I'm telling him, like, no, don't do that. Never mind. Oh my God, like keep going, keep it going, right? So watching him work is always a good thing. And, you know, again, being around the guys, like this is, what do you want to do else? What else do you want to do on a Sunday, right? You want to hang out with your friends, see them succeed, and right, I got the best receivers in the game. My life's easy.
Yeah, I mean, the weather's picking up. It's staying clear. It's staying bright and sunny. We're getting a little bit closer to what you might be used to. I mean, I know that helps spin things together. I mean, as one of the Americans who's come over to play in this league, I mean, it's very different, of course, to how it is in the States culturally. This is a growing sector of the sport. You know, but what kind of differences have you seen in your short time over in the UK already?
I mean, for me, I don't think there's a difference really in, you know, talent. I think it's just rhythm of the game. You know, I've been playing this game since, you know, 20 years now, right? I started playing flag when I was 6 years old. You know, Quentin just started when he was young. Sam started when he was young. Bree started 20 years ago playing tackle. Like, we've just had a rhythm for the game a lot longer than some of the guys in the UK, and that's just opportunity, right? And the goal out here is to, you know, breed that opportunity for the next generation, show them that it's possible. The Aztecs are showing BAFA that it is possible to, you know, elevate the game of American football out here. So just keep spreading the love, spreading the wealth, and I think things will look up out here.
It's interesting that you talked about flag football as well as a pathway through to the sport. It's there's loads of young guys playing out here today. The under-19s for the Knights were taken on a South London side before the game, and they got a big win. But those guys have played full-contact American sports from very young because they're a youth team, whereas that sort of flag football, which you can play forever, I mean, it is heading to the Olympics. It's going to be big out there. But you know, what kind of impact do you think that it might, being an Olympic sport, might make on the progression in this country?
I think people are going to be a lot more interested. I mean, we got the best UK flag player on our team in AJ Carr, right? We got the, you know, flag star in AJ Carr. So, I mean, it's necessary because people just need eyes on it, right? You know, we can put out a good product, we can do a lot of fun things, and the Aztecs are fun to watch, as you can see, right? Any given Sunday or Saturday, we're going to put on a show, and I think that will transcend when you watch AJ Carr out there in the Olympics as well.
Ethan, thank you so much for speaking to us. Really appreciate it. Ethan Gratzinger, the Aztecs quarterback. What a game he's already having. And I think I'm going to grab Josh McCauley as well as Christian Canadella while we're here, guys. In that media team, getting all the shots today. There'll be plenty of good ones in the sunshine as well. But also that work in Poland, you know, that trip out there, it wasn't the movie that you were expecting to make, but it's the movie that you're going to make, and it is going to be interesting.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was an interesting perspective. It was Jake's idea, and really we had 2 different experiences to tell. So I was on the plane, different plane, which was on the BA flight, and so I had all my things kind of going into it. And so Jake was on the plane that unfortunately didn't have it, but Jake, being our videographer, had all his equipment with him on his carry-on, so we kind of saved the butt there, or saved the day there with that. But yeah, it's become more of a story of not necessarily what happened during the game, right? We all know the final result, but what happened leading up to that game. That's the story that we hope to tell.
So Jake, and captured by Jake, of course, get the badge in straight away. That's brilliant stuff. How early in the process, because I was talking to Keanu, but he was on the other flight as well, so he got text messages coming through like, I don't have any of my stuff. At what point did you think, I think this is the time for me to pick my camera up and start putting it in people's faces, even if they haven't got any stuff with them?
Yeah, so as soon as we got to the airport and we got through, everything got to our bags. Luckily, someone had an air tag in their suitcase, so it was sort of a situation of we knew our bags weren't here. And I was so lucky I had all my stuff on my back because obviously if I left my equipment there, then we've got no footage. So I knew as soon as this happened, I was like, I get my camera out, I started getting videos. Everyone's sort of like worried about their cases. They've got no kit now. So I started filming as soon as I heard that, and I was thinking, this is going to be great. This could be like a great story. It's the climax in a documentary. So like, it's pretty much everything that I could have wanted from the documentary side of it. But obviously, I was hoping for a better result in the end to finish it. But we have a great story, and I'm excited to share it.
This is a proper nerdy media question, but one of the things that makes American sports so special and the NFL so special is they are so good at promoting it. And, you know, talk Super Bowl adverts, full stop. Everyone knows those are the most watched and the biggest adverts in the world. It's the most expensive media real estate, but it's the footage they managed to get out of the games, much like the trailer we saw, you know, the fireworks and the pyro, and that kind of brings people closer to the sport. So as someone who's, you know, perhaps not familiar with American football from day one, like everyone in the States seems to be, how have you found approaching this sport, which already has so much media coverage? Have you tried to replicate some of it, or, you know, try and sort of bring a British angle to what you're trying to create?
Yeah, so obviously I love my own style. I try to bring all the energy that I can get from these games into my highlights, and sort of creating my own style with it, bringing my touch of the British side of it into, obviously you see all these American highlights and they're great, and I want to bring my own style into it, and hopefully with the Aztecs just keep going levels and levels above each time I create a highlight and film with these guys, and it's been great.
There's another one. Are we finally going to get a shot of the planes coming over? There's been so many of those dropping down into Farnborough. That is odd. That is a different aspect. It's a stunning place to play. Yeah, it's a stunning place to play football, but it's, you know, because compared to the spots in the States, you know, the college football stadiums are 7 of the 10 biggest in the world, full stop, for capacity, and yet here you are, you know, on the King Edward V, you know, playing field. It is different, but this is where the game has to start. This is where the game has to come from. It's grassroots, and it will grow, and it's commitment to places like this and getting out there with a full squad on any given Sunday that makes Britball special.
100%. Look, at the end of the day, this field is 50 yards wide, 100 yards long. It's the same thing. It's all football at the end of the day, so we're here to capture it, whether we're playing outside in kind of park like this or at Shaftesbury Park back at where the Bristol Aztecs play. So, you know, we're gonna shoot right here. This guy's gonna do some great great videos for us. Wyger's gonna do some great photos, and check that out on Bristol Aztecs on Instagram.
Yeah, really exciting for what the season has still to deliver. Thanks very much for speaking to us both, because we are not far away from heading through to the second half and the third quarter. Such a big scoreline already for the Aztecs. There's a long way here for the Knights to go if they're going to try and fight their way back into it. But that would be brilliant to see, much like when they played the Stallions a couple of weeks ago, of course, the Bristol Aztecs. It was that second half that the Stallions started to get points on the board, but they did keep a clean sheet here away from home last season, the Aztecs, and that's what they'll be about, with a huge defensive shift still to come. Well, it looks like they've made plenty of change as well, so I think it's good for all the Aztecs watching at home at the watch party back in Bristol to see some of these new players get a chance to shine. And with that, I'll hand you back up to Carl, who is in the comms box, ready for the third and fourth quarter.
Thanks, Wilf. Great job down on the sideline, talking to Christian and others about this documentary coming up. I'm really excited to see the full thing. What I love about the Aztecs culture is the fact that they want to get people behind the scenes as much as possible and really give them the sights and sounds of not just what goes on the field, but what it takes to build a program of this kind of power and become a national champion.
Yeah, it's all that little intricacies that, you know, you see what happens on the game day, but what goes into getting kit from one place to another, if not to talk about this Polish experience. But even the people behind the scenes, they get a mention. But, you know, people want content these days, and having that shift, and the leadership team behind the Aztecs now are really pushing for that. So having skilled people like Jake and many other contributors we have in the photography world, it's only going to push the profile and only going to bring Aztecs' brand higher and higher, which for me as a long-term serving Aztec, and for many of those in the alumni, we're loving it.
Yeah, you had the Warriors. You had the Warriors for a long time, who were national champions for, I think, 8 or 9 times they won it. Blitz won it, but this feels very different. This culture is very different in Bristol because they're so open, whereas a team like the Warriors, very closed, and you had kind of media blackouts. They didn't speak to anyone pre-game. Bristol, they speak to everyone. So very different cultures, and it's good to see and see whether this will be the start of something that Bristol will continue. I know they want to win another national championship this year, and they're certainly hungry for as much as they can get.
Yeah, and I think that's, again, the ownership team, Elliot Hoyt, Pete Jones, and many others, Leidenwood Best, many others. They're not only pushing it for the Aztecs to build a brand, they want to build the BAFA brand. They want to build football in the UK, get more people there behind it, get more people to watch it, because that can only feed the desire for players to want to get better. You know, we see this professional league that's what I would call trialing itself right now. I'm going to be harsh, but let's see how that goes. But we only get there by developing all elements. There's a lot of things you see in Europe, right, which is like the combined average, so of the players, of the training, of the coaching, of everything, and that's why other countries are ahead of us right now, because their combined average of the elements are just that much better.
We are ready to get back to the action. The score here, Bristol 56, Rushmoor 0, as Bristol will get the ball to start. It's Wimmer back there looking for the return. He's off to his left-hand side. Some heavy blocks going in there as Wimmer using all that pace, strength and power to find his way down the sideline. Wimmer has got one man to beat, turns inside, and that is it. He goes house to house and all the way in for the touchdown to open the second half.
And what a way to start the second half. If there's any statement to make, it's let's return it. Let's have a look here. 89 or even 94 yards, I believe that one is. Just look at the movement, the power, the handoff. Tackling, yeah, you could say. And then 24 here, Louis Ellis. Slight business decision maybe, who knows, but yeah, what a way to start the second half.
Yeah, great return of the Aztecs. They never take their foot off the gas, do they? They're always coming at you, putting you under pressure. Whether it's trying to get that score with just a few seconds to go in the first half, or whether it's putting Wimmer back there as the returner to open this second half. And they're also trying things themselves, aren't they, that may come back that they want to do in other games.
Yeah, this is a perfect opportunity for them to, implement new systems or place things they haven't done yet, maybe in practice or in other games. This does now have itself as a practice game, if you will. I don't mean that in any disrespect to Rushmoor Knights at all, but we're going to see rotations, we're going to see backups come in, and there's another replay of Wimmer striding into the end zone for what looks like a 94-yard return.
So that's Wimmer's third touchdown on the board, this time a kick return on the special teams. We'll have to think about our today's Meet VP Award, proudly sponsored by New Manor Farm Shop. And we've been keeping a keen eye on everyone. I know you'll have your thoughts as well. We'll have to have a little bit of
less than 13 minutes on the clock because it is running. It's a running clock, less than 13 minutes.
So we'll have to have a bit of a conflab about that. And we have had now confirmation. The running clock doesn't just kick in at 35 points automatically. It only starts in that second half. So even though Bristol got to 35 points very, very quickly, probably by midway through the first quarter, the running clock starts now, so it will go fairly rapidly. The Aztecs will be thinking about who they want to swap in at this point, do you think?
Potentially, yeah. It's a great opportunity to give those younger athletes, or maybe the backups that are just, if you look at the receiver group, for instance, the guys who are below Wimmer in the depth chart, to get some experience with Gretz, with the QB and with the system, to really get experience so if they're needed later down in the season, they're ready.
Emmanuel Bauer kicks this one off. Not seen that as yet in this game, and that is bobbled but caught by the Rushmoor Knights returner, who's trying to find the edge, but the tackle goes in from Chris Arena, and not much joy for the Rushmoor on the kick return.
As we see Mr. Wimmer there cooling himself off after all the efforts he's made today. Well deserved shower there.
Yeah, absolutely. What a spectacular kick return that was for the touchdown to open Q2. And Rushmoor come out for their first possession of this second half. Catch it up very briefly with Cam Jones of the Rushmoor Knights, who's an ex-NTU player, a guy I used to coach, an ex-president of NTU, and really did a beautiful job there at NTU. And he said they're going to keep fighting all the way to the end of the game, as this one will go incomplete on first down. Not sure who he was trying to get the ball to there.
Yeah, it looks like an assignment is missed here. Bit of confusion from the QB receiver perspective. We'll get a chance at the replay maybe, but yeah, it looks like there's a bit of miscommunication there about what was supposed to happen.
Second down for Rushmoor, just checking whether they've made any adjustments themselves to the personnel on the field. Or whether it is still Flint out there. And it is, along with Salut Tom. Second and 10 for the Knights. This one will go to Salut Tom, looking for some space to his left-hand side. He'll pick up a gain of about 4.
Another tackle there for Joe Abu, one of the big D linemen on the dominant defensive line here, chasing down the running back and grabbing him. We've got some changes on the defensive side of the ball for the Aztecs. We've got Ocken Hall coming in at DB at the bottom of your screen there, number 38, and also Romain Burat is coming in number 41 at the linebacker position. So some rotations happening.
Big squad here at the Aztecs, which enables them to compete in Europe, but also it enables you to rotate players in, and whenever they get a chance they want to bring those backups in because they're high quality players in their own right. As Flint goes to the air and incomplete. Well, that was a good chance there for the catch. It was Mariosis again, but nice tight coverage from the Aztecs.
Yeah, it seems like they're still going to go at it. They're still going to try and force the ball downfield, which is great for the spectators to see, and also just a show of confidence from the Rushmore Knights that although they're losing by the amount they're losing at, they're still going to go at it, and fair play to them. I like the play call.
Flint looks like he has a decent arm, but just been under relentless pressure, and when he hasn't, the defensive back coverage has been really good from the Aztecs. Fourth down, back to punt are the Knights. This time the wind at their back a little, and that kick is a better one. It will bounce and go out of bounds at the 38, and a big boo goes up because it was Tommy Drain Weeks who was trying to get a return on that one.
Yeah, I think there will be an opposite reaction on the Knight sideline. There'll actually be a sigh of relief that there's not going to be a return going back.
Absolutely.
Tactical, unsure, but yeah, operationally you want it out of bounds, so it just absolutely makes zero chance of a return and any danger. Also conserve some bodies. You don't want to be making
under 8
tackles.
minutes. Under 8 minutes.
You don't want to be making like unnecessary tackles this late in the game. So save your guys, kick it out of bounds.
So this quarter is at 8 minutes already. It's going very rapid as Bauer looks for space off the left-hand side. Bauer now gets a pickup of 12, rips a nice first down.
Yeah, if you look off the edge there, Thomas, the left tackle, sealing off the edge, and you've even got Adam Eckhart, tight end, further downfield than the running back.
This time to the right-hand side with an entourage. Bauer getting a great block and released to the edge. He will get tackled down, but that was a really nice block from Henry Buckland, the wide receiver out there for the Aztecs, who freed up Bauer for a few more yards.
Yeah, Harry's been getting himself in there. There's a flag on the play.
Well, it looks like it might be that block. I thought it was a great
Holding,
block.
offence number 11. 10 yards from the flag, remains first down.
Well, that's why it was a great block, Spence, because it was an illegal block.
Yeah, unfortunately for Harry, that's his second one in the game. We'll have a look here, see where his hands are positioned on the body of the defender. Yeah, you can just see it there, that hand. So the defender's got in front of him, and Harry's just holding him back there, and that's why the flag has been called.
That's why we have all those referees down on the field, so they spot it. When it happens, it's hard enough against these Aztecs without the holds as well being allowed.
Yeah, blocking as a receiver, I know myself, it was definitely not one of my skills, but it's very difficult. It's a dynamic position to be. The O-line have got the guy right in front of you, and it's about power, but defending and blocking as a receiver is a very, very sought after skill.
Gretzinger's still in. He'll try and get the ball out to Tommy Weeks, but threw it over his head.
Yeah, Tommy, a fresh face to the Aztecs offense this year in the Aztecs community. So they're trying to feed him the ball here on 2 occasions to try and get him into the fold and get some experience here and show what he can do.
Referees have stopped the clock this time. We're at 3rd and 4. Referees just checking in with each other. Keith Wickham checking in with his colleagues. And they've changed the down from 3rd down to 2nd down. Got that corrected. Here comes the blitz from Rushmoor on that 2nd down. And Gretzinger will try and get away. And good pressure from Rushmoor. Well, that's been a highlight for their defense. They do get to Gretzinger. And a nice sack in the end. They sent the house. And Gretzinger, one of those rare times he will get caught in the backfield.
Yeah, Luke Scadden there getting some deep penetration into the pocket and forcing Gretzinger out to the left. Tried to get away, but did enough, and the Knights have rallied there to bring him down.
Backs them up to 3rd and 7. Gretzinger, now he's got time, feels the pressure and rolls to his left. Now he's going to take to his feet out of bounds. Don't think he's going to have enough for the 1st down, which will bring up 4th, and an interesting decision for the Aztecs. They need a couple of yards to maintain the drive.
Yeah, you can see there Gretz goes through 3 of his reads and doesn't deem anyone to be open or to give him a shot, so he's rolled left. And we'll see now whether a rare punt attempt might happen, but don't know. It looks like they're lining up in trips right.
Yeah, still out on the field. Pete Jones says, no, get me the 2 yards. I want to keep the ball. Gretzinger drops, pressure coming. And this one will be caught down the sideline by Bowring. And that will pick up a gain of 20 yards and a 1st down. Bowring trusted hands on that one.
Yeah, 3 clean catches from Tom Bowring underneath in this game so far. You can see here, safe hands, gets it secured.
Coming down to 5 minutes and running, coming down to 5 and running.
And unlike the last time, Harry not holding this time, but a great block from Tommy Weeks as well. Tommy Weeks having a bit of an impact here in the 2nd.
Bowring with the 1st down. Gretzinger this time rocks it out to his running back, Joe Zabina. And he will get it all the way down to about the 1 yard line. It's another 1st down for the Aztecs. Rushmoor looking like they might be giving up another one very soon.
Yeah, so Zabs is what he's known as in the team. He's a Cardiff Cobras veteran. He's been around the Cardiff Cobras for a while. But yeah, a nice easy read there for Gretz. A nice swing route by the running back. Looks like they've gone back to basics here to calm down the pace and take back control.
So it's actually tackle was made on about the 4 yard line. So it's now 1st and goal from the 4. Zabina still in the backfield. Gretzinger will loft it over, and a good defensive play, tipped away, incomplete.
Yeah, so that's a special play they've got lined up for what normally is left tackle Lewis Thomas, but lining him up as a tight end this time. You can see on the right hand, he acts like he's going to block, then he rolls out and tries to catch the defense off guard, but number 29 there, Ola Akinsamani, he's made a few great tackles this game.
He's made 3 great plays, Akinsamani, and that's one of them, because I know they wanted that as a highlight. They did it in the first game, I think, against the Blitz to get the ball to Lewis, but this time it's Sabana who will try and find the edge, and he will go in. Touchdown, Aztecs, this time in the form of Joe Sabana.
Yeah, and he beats Ollie Reynoldsson there to the outside. A bit of a foot race between 2 individual athletes, and Joe Zabana coming out on top. You can see here, gets a little step, gets to the outside, and unfortunately the Rushmoor Knights defender cannot bring him down before he gets into the end zone. Joe Zabana will be very happy with that as one of the backup running backs, and the score increases.
That's the 5th Bristol Aztec player that's gone in for a touchdown. So everyone getting a little bit of a taste of the scoring as the score now goes to 70-0. And the Aztecs keep piling it on. This Q3 is going rapidly. As we see Zabana go in. What does it mean that these backup players coming in, they get that experience, even though it's a back end of a game, they get to play with the first team, they get to play with the offensive line. What does it mean to get that experience?
Yeah, well, in the case of Joe there, he doesn't get many of the first team reps. With the likes of Josh Brees and Manuel Bauer getting those reps with what looks like a full O-line, it shows what he can do, proves to the coaches that he does have something to give if the time comes. And all the practice, all the time, the riding and driving to practices to finally get on the pitch and get a score like that is really good for morale and belief that they can push and try and fight for a place on that first string.
Absolutely. Bristol continue to attract the best players around this region and from across the country and internationally to this program, and there's a reason for it. It's the culture they're building, it's the senior leadership team, it's the fact that they're streaming all the games, they're making documentaries, they're doing those additional things that great organizations do to keep raising the standard and raising the bar.
Yeah, undoubtedly, and even having us in the booth here today is one aspect of BRAFA that people don't get. And from anywhere from having pizza vans at the game, Shaftesbury Park being the home of Bristol Aztecs and being a formidable place to go and a beautiful place to go in the sun, you got all the stands. Yeah, it's all about increasing every single part of the aspect of football in general.
Bristol kick it away to Rushmoor again. This one will bounce out of bounds, illegal kick. So still some work to do on the kick. Ollie Luck, that wasn't his kick. I think it was Emmanuel Barrow again who was kicking that one off. This one out of bounds.
Free kick out of bounds by the kicking team. We'll put the ball 30 yards from where it was kicked. First down to the receiving team.
Yep, there you go, Emmanuel Bauer. Obviously taking some reps off Ollie. Maybe Pete Jones is, testing out the backup. I can see him giggling with Pete Jones, but I personally wouldn't be giggling after kicking it out illegally. But yeah, what they do now, they get a choice of where the ball goes, and they've chosen to have it 30 yards from where the ball's kicked. So quite a big gain here for the Knights. Might put them in a position where they'll have a bit of confidence and a bit of, they'll have view of the goal line. Let's say that.
Yeah, and they want to score. They want that coming into this game. You said it earlier. They want to get a point on the board. They haven't had a score in 2 games, and Aztecs at the moment shutting them out. But Rushmoor will want to see whether they can get something going. This, they try the end around, and that defense again so tough to run on at the edge. There's about 4 bodies arrive to tackle Matariosis for no gain.
Yeah, what looks like a jet sweep kind of motion, as we say in football, where one of the receivers runs across to the other side of the field and you pop up the ball in front of him and runs across. We'll have a look at it now. Yeah, just good pressure from Aztecs on the edge. Josh Ricketts there. Yeah, it's tough to run a jet sweep against this defense, especially with, not elite speed.
As we get to the end of Q3, we will check down onto the field in a second, but just to remind you that our MVP Awards proudly sponsored by New Manor Farm Shop, which is an award-winning farm shop, butchers and cafe, open 7 days a week. In New Manor Farm, rear beef, sheep and pigs to high welfare standards and leading the way in sustainable British farming. Let's go to get some sights and sounds from down on the field. I can see Richard's got the camera on some Bristol Aztec players. We'll keep it here in the booth as we get started for this Q4 with this running clock. Goes ever so fast, and we're going to need to think about that decision, the MVP. I hope you've got someone in mind, Spencer, because we've had 5 different scorers from the Aztecs. I'll come back to you for a final decision later on in Q4. We'll try and get something done by the 2-minute warning. But Rushmoor have the ball. They had a loss on that first down at the end of Q3. So we swap sides. No wind here now. It's beautiful. Bit of cloud. But the wind has died so shouldn't affect the passing or the kicking game. Motion from Rushmoor. And that's a nice solid pickup from the running back. Picks up a gain of about 6, which will give him a manageable 3rd and 5. Well, maybe 3rd and 6.
Yeah, as we see a new running back come into the game, Valentino Giorgio. Excuse my pronunciation there, but a solid game.
Actually, they give him about 4 yards. So it's going to be 3rd and 7 from that 2nd and 11. Giorgio stays in there. Flint has 2 receivers either side of him. He'll go to his left-hand side, and that is incomplete. Again, trying to get the ball to that GB receiver, Matt Ricard, but just a little bit too much for him. Even if he'd have caught that, hard to keep your feet with a ball that's thrown that low.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 94 on the defence, 15 yards, first down.
So Billy Elliott, who made a play earlier, the UE graduate who now plays for the Aztecs, gets called on the personal foul, roughing the passer. So Rushmoor get a break, 15 yards.
Yeah, and back to the catch there. Matt Ricard at his level, what he's trying to achieve in the GB squad, would want to pull that in. You know, it's a pretty challenging catch, but not uncatchable. So he'll be disappointed with that.
1st and 10, Rushmoor into Aztecs territory. Can they try and put some points on the board? The Aztecs will obviously not want them to do that. They bring pressure again. This one's hurled up and intercepted. This is now JaVale Laidley who's got the ball with the interception and out of bounds. And a great job by him with the pick. And that's the 3rd pick that Rushmoor have thrown today.
Yeah, I think it's Charles Carlson, number 92, with the pressure on Henry Flint there, has forced him to throw the ball up. We'll see it here now. The snap comes in. Some great pressure there, 92 and 39. Let me just get my bearings. Alfie as well. Yeah, I'm putting that on the defensive line for getting the pressure there. Unfortunately for Henry, he throws another pick.
So Laidley gets to wear the chains on the sideline as the Aztecs get to work in a hurry with an end around to Sam East. Lewis Benzie now in at quarterback. Gretzinger's not coming out for Q4. He's done his job. Benzie gets more experience, played the whole of the game last time, and comes in for Q4 to keep his arm hot. Flag down. This run to the left-hand side will just go out of bounds, and that's Ash Bailey using his speed to pick up a gain of that's a gain of about 12.
Illegal formation, too many men in the backfield on the offense, 5 yards, still 2nd down.
Well, you heard what the flag was, so that will come back.
Yeah,
but again, other runners, other players touching the ball, working to get as much time on the field as they can.
Yeah, Rian Hudson not going to be happy with a formation error there, but it's a SGS graduate in Louis Benzie handing it off to SGS soon-to-be graduate Ashley Bailey, who's registered as a QB but is multi-talented.
Bailey again, left-hand side, very patient, looking for the blocks to open up. Then he takes a couple of steps, but Rushmoor defend that really well. Only picked up a couple.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Bailey can bring to the table here. He's got a lot of experience in Europe, and he's one of the older guys, even though he's new to the Aztecs. So we'll see what kind of spice he can add to the game here and give Benzie.
Benzie back to pass now and goes and makes a completion right at the sticks. And they'll run him out of bounds, but not before he picks up the 1st down. Does Henry Marsh. Sticks will move again, pick up a 13. Nice and composed from Lewis Benzie.
Moving quick with the clock. They know it's a running clock, so quick underneath hitches. With Rushmoor Knights running a cover 1 defense, you know, those defenders are backing up quickly, so hitches are always available.
Bailey up the middle, nothing doing that time. Rushmoor right there. Jack Levin was the guy that cleaned that one up for Rushmoor, no gain. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, got a few backup offensive line coming in here. You can see we got Usupa Boyang, and you got a long-time serving Aztec as well, Rashid, Cardiff Cobra alum.
Tommy Wheels goes in motion, blitz coming from Rushmoor. Bailey gets the ball up the middle, patiently following his blockers, now breaks his left-hand side and is ridden down in the end by Jack Levin again. But Bailey wants a penalty, still on the ground. We'll have to let the refs sort that out. It was Che Biviano, number 37 of Rushmoor, that Bailey wanted the penalty on. Let's have a look at the end of this play. Yeah, there's the shove.
Case there. He's got a case.
Yeah, extras and afters, and feel like Bivano got away with one there.
Bit of showmanship from the ever-growing showmanship Aztecs there. Even the players are getting in on the action.
At 10 minutes 19, 10-1-9, first timeout, Knights.
So the Knights call a timeout. I think probably the head coach wants to talk to them, to Phil DeMonte, just to calm them down a bit. They got lucky there, I think, Spencer, not having that called, because, and again, it's one of those things, referees sometimes don't see that first contact, but Bailey did a good job of not jumping up and retaliating, right, which is where the flag may have come in.
Yeah, a bit of control shown there by Ashley Bailey, and also from the Aztecs themselves. You don't want to get into that sort of like, you know, petty things when the score's like this and there's nothing on the line. It's just good to, you know, maintain respect and also, you know, play within the rules. It can be frustrating, don't get me wrong, you know, no one wants to be 70-0 down, but maintaining your sort of integrity and playing the sport we love, like, you don't want to be doing things like that.
Lots of great performances on offense and defense today. I just saw the interception maker, Javar Laidley, taking some water to another player, and that's the sort of culture they have here at Bristol. They're all in it, no jobs too small or too trivial. There are no superstars here. They play as a team and they help each other out. And they're back on the field now. The backups are in, but they'll get the very best out of the starters that will be helping them along as Benzie takes a low snap and looks to his right-hand side, going deep downfield. Caught! Beautiful pass to Chris Green, touchdown Aztecs.
And something I didn't have on my bingo card today was Chris Green outrunning a defensive back. He's not going to like I said that, but it wasn't on my bingo card.
Glad you said it, not me. So Green gets a touchdown on the board. He's now the 7th player to score for the Bristol Aztecs in this game. Beautiful over-the-shoulder catch, but impressed by the arm of Benzie.
Yeah, he gets it out quick. There was obviously, that was the intent there. You could see that there was a mismatch with Green and the cornerback, so I think Green might have given Benzie a little wink there and go, listen to me, I'm a senior player, throw me the ball, and Greener gets on the score list.
Ollie Luck comes in and he's kicked all of them as Ollie Luck, and they'll be pleased without the special teams unit. As a kicker, to kick everything that you've been asked to kick, it's just great consistency, isn't it?
Perfect is perfect, and like we talked about earlier with the departure of the previous kicker, Ollie Luck's now got to come in, get into rhythm, get into his sort of, you know, his kicking, the relaxation techniques, and just kicking under pressure. Okay, yeah, not pressure at 70-0, but to go, I think that's 10. Might be 10.
Yeah, where are we? We're at 77.
Yeah, so, you know, to go 100% shows that he's got it in him.
Yeah, beautiful kicking from Ollie Luck, and he'll have to kick this one off again. I don't think they're going to trust Saba with the kicking anymore after he kicked it out of bounds. Barwa, sorry, but you know, I think he said to Pete Jones-Coleman, it's not even my job, coach, why did you ask me to do it? So they brought Ollie Luck back in.
Well, I do recall in many training sessions with Bauer that he's claimed that he used to play football and can kick balls, but I'll let that to be decided.
Everyone thinks they can kick, don't they? Everyone thinks they can kick.
Hey, I need to control myself on the broadcast. I don't want to speak my mind on that. But
all right, Ollie Luck back with the kickoff duties. We'll put this one deep and picked up at the 6-yard line. And this is a decent return, a good return that time from Salu Tom, who managed to outrun the first wave of coverage and make some yards.
Yeah, decent run to get the ball back, puts him in a sort of half-field position. A good tackle there by David Sharinmore as well.
I'm running fades, you catch your fade, yeah? And the right page is 36.
Rushmoor back with the ball. Clock continues to run. It won't stop. Another good job as this will be another free play for Rushmoor as the ball goes up into the air, and Seeger again right there almost picks it off. But that was again nice thinking from Flint. He had another free play, so why not put it up there? Flag.
Yeah, it's a good snap count by
5 yards, still first down.
Yeah, good snap count by Henry. He's obviously got some skills, you know, he can control the snap count. He does have an arm. Yeah, he's a bit inaccurate, but he seems like a young guy as well, so a lot to work on. But he's actually learned from his previous mistake of trying to, you know, go run outside the pocket and put himself in danger. He's just thrown it up, and it's a free play, so give your guy a go.
Absolutely nothing to lose here. Rushmoor face Bristol Aztecs again 2 weeks' time in Bristol. And so they'll have more opportunities to try and score on them. But as far as this game goes,
there's about 7 minutes in the game, 7 minutes in the game running.
7 minutes to go. So Bristol Aztecs showing blitz on this down, and they come with a lot of pressure. Flint will throw it out of bounds. He did have a player on the sideline, but no chance for reception. But again, doing a good job, Flint, of avoiding the pass rush. Just too high for Matt Ricard.
Yeah, he's clearly got a favourite receiver here, and with the accolades that Matt Ricard's bringing with the GB tag, you know, you want to try and feed your best receivers, and he's clearly been the target today. But a good pressure there from Romain Barat, outside linebacker for the Aztecs there.
Second and 5 for Rushmoor. Trips. They send number 6, Matariosis, in motion, and that goes absolutely nowhere. And it looks like there's going to be a flag going in there. Just some frustration from the Rushmoor player who was buried by an Aztec. And I don't know who they're going to call that on. That'll be a tough call as a referee.
Personal foul, 97 defence, unnecessary roughness, 15 yards, first down.
Well, I'd like to see this on the replay. They call it on Ramari Bennett, who you can see there on the screen. But it looked like a tough flag to me. It just seemed to be that the Rushmoor player was just getting frustrated on the ground.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a scuffle. We might see it on the replay here. Yeah, frustrations maybe starting to boil over. 97 here, brings him down, rolls him over, maybe pushes him against the floor.
Yeah, maybe that's what it's for. So yeah, but you know, close call for me, that one. However, referee calls it. Gives Rushmoor some additional yards, but not that they can do anything with it on that down. Bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, either way, Rushmoor will welcome it to get him over the halfway line, what looks like. So we'll see if they can, you know, I think at this point, you're aiming to get in the red zone at least, right? So let's see what the offensive coordinator, Steve Brown, cooks up for young Henry Flint to try and move the ball there.
Some backups in there. DC, assistant DC, who's calling the plays today, Ryan Morton's put some of his backup players in, but there's some starters out there as well. So he's mixing it up. Quick screen and defense right there. Maybe a pickup of a yard. It's a Matariosis with the screen plate. The kind of now screen they call it. Receiver just turns, looks at the QB and gets it out into the flat.
Yeah, we'll check it on the replay. Yeah, it looks like a bubble screen from the outside, but just no blockers. Unsure if that's drawn up properly with the amount of people that were on that side. Normally you do that to a trip side, so you have more blockers than you do defenders, but didn't work out for him that time.
Flint back, has a little bit of time. That is incomplete. Again, I think it was Matariosis that he's trying to get to, but felt like he got one hand on it. Maybe could have got two hands on this, Spencer. What do you think?
He might have pushed himself up to contest of a sizzle play of the day there if he pulls that in with one hand, but unfortunately couldn't pull it off.
Sizzle play of the day, I like it. We're waiting for that Meet VP award as Rushmoor look to punt this one away. Do you think they should just have a go at this instead of punting it, Spencer? Lack of ambition, you think? 77-0 down doesn't matter, does it? See if you can get it in the end zone.
I wouldn't say lack of ambition. Maybe just want to, you know, stick to the basics and operate here. I guess another punt rep maybe, but I would, yeah.
Nice kick though. Punter does a nice job with that, and that's a decent, really good fair catch as well. That's made fearlessly by Tommy Wheels.
Yeah, great catch by Tommy Weeks there. And if you didn't notice, he waved his hand in the air, which to some, if you're not, if you're new to the game of football, means he's called a fair catch. So wherever he catches it, it's uncontested. No one can actually go up and try and tackle him or anything, and the ball will be placed exactly where he places it. He can't progress it. Almost like a mark in rugby. Similar sort of situation.
It is. And they're actually quite tough to do because there's still the chance that you can muff up the catch as the Aztecs get the ball to Weeks, who just made the fair catch, and he'll get the ball all the way into Rushmoor territory down to the 30-yard line. Great pitch and catch.
Yeah, Benzie coming up here straight with the slant from the inside slot. Tommy Weeks, fresh off his fair catch reception on the punt, catches one here, has to adjust pretty well to it. Yeah, and just gets out into space, and then the race is on. Good job to Rushmoor, and good job to Tommy there, keeping the ball secure and allowing the Aztecs now to press on and push into the red zones very, very soon. Good completion.
1st and 10 for Lewis Benzie. He'll give this one to Bailey. He'll go right-hand side and stick his head in there. Rushmoor get him down, pick up of maybe 3.
Just about one thing to see here, if you look at Josh Brees and also what looks like Ashley Bailey here, the patience they run with. If you watch the replay, if we do get a replay of this one, just he's not going full out, he's not full sprinting from the first handoff. He's waiting for
1 minute
gaps.
48, 148, first timeout, Aztecs.
As the Aztecs call a timeout there, but waiting for those gaps to come, letting the O-line to develop and get into position so you can really cut back or then cut around. So it's really good to see from the running backs.
1:48 to go in the game. Aztecs piling on the points, still putting the pressure on Rushmoor. No mercy rule as far as the Aztecs are concerned. They just keep bringing it. Benzie will loft it over the middle. This one's going to go incomplete. Intended receiver there was Tommy Weeks. Looks like they're trying to get him a score.
Yeah, you mentioned no mercy, but a quote here from Ringen Hudson, like Hangman Adam Page said, they want to get back in the saddle. He'll love that one, but what he means by that is just going back to being executing well and scoring lots of points and being an explosive offense, and they're definitely showing that today.
Benzie to Weeks, in and out of his hands. Nice tight coverage from Rushmoor. Coverage was from Finn O'Shea.
Yeah, so
at 1 minute 13, 1-1-3, second timeout, Aztecs.
Many might think it's a bit, over relentless or going too far, but if a team is setting out to, make that statement, then unfortunately this is the way they do it.
So 4th down, Benzie still out there. Aztecs took the timeout. Rushmoor send the pressure. Benzie looks to get something going, but the Rushmoor are there and will put an end to that drive and an end to that play on 4th down. They get the sack. Highlight for Rushmoor.
Yeah, Rushmoor putting on a bit of pressure on the QB here. If you get a replay here, you look at the left side of the line, you got Angus Gooderbuck. He washes out that defensive end, but as you can see, gets pressure enough to force Benzie back up into the pocket, and the rest of the defense are there to just swallow him up. So yeah, D-line, maybe they've got a few backups in there, but showing that the pressure is getting through from Rushmoor, and fair play, making a stop.
So Rushmoor get the ball back with a few seconds to go. Screen is picked off, and that's going to be taken all the way back for a touchdown. It's Roman Barat, the linebacker, with the closing nail in the coffin here in this one, with the defense picking up a score as well.
And you'll see this on the camera now as the whole of the defense goes up and gives Romain a high five. Again, one of those players who hasn't been a starter, but yeah, you can see the screen, they just read it, and his job is to take the flat, take the running back, and he's read it perfectly, operated perfectly, and he's come up with the score there. Hats off to Romain there. Proof that if you just follow your assignment, good things will happen. And you can see the whole sideline is lit up there as Romain's a well-known Aztec, and for him to get a score is a big, big achievement.
So all three units get involved in the score and action. The offensive scored, the special teams have scored, and the defense have scored. No extra point as the clock had expired, I think. So as the chain gets passed around, every time there's a turnover in this game, they come to the sideline and they get a chain with the word hunt around it to the defenders if they get a turnover, and of course that was a pick six as well.
Yeah, it was, and it goes back to that culture you said that Aztecs are building. The defense have got an attitude, and when they come off on the pitch and they're celebrating every single turnover, you know, that is in itself is a message to the opposition, like, you know, we're out here to not only have fun but to dominate. So those little tidbits, those little achievements on the sideline, they go a long way to intimidate.
So remember that we've selected one of those Bristol Aztecs players as the new Manor Farm Shop Meet VP. Other teams have MVPs. We have Meet VPs in Bristol, recognising the most outstanding player of the game. We'll come and let you know who that is as soon as that award is given. You can see the final score here in Bristol is 83 to the Bristol Aztecs. They scored every way you can score as a team, and 0 to the Rushmoor Knights. Your reflections, Spencer, before we go to the highlights?
Statement made. We said at the offset in the intro that you know, Rian Hudson and Pete, you know, really annoyed about what transpired over in Poland, that we'll learn, you know, and we'll get an insight too on the premiere of the YouTube video. But statement made. The rest of the league, you're on notice. The Aztecs are here, and they're here to dominate.
They are. All that frustration of Poland and Warsaw, they brought it back to Farnborough, and they really put on a show here today. They looked really slick, I thought. Offense ran really well, didn't make a lot of mistakes, and right from the get-go they were ready to go. It was like they arrived off the bus and just went, and it was 5 touchdowns by the end of Q1.
Yeah, I would be a bit more critical, you know, even though they've won 83-0. There are a few passes from Graz that are a bit off, a couple of drops here and there as well. So if I'm going to be super critical, the defense kind of, you know, let them move the ball right from the off. So let's see. I'm not in the coaches' rooms anymore or in the debriefs after the game, but I'm sure there'll be things they pick out they can work on to be even more effective as we go forward.
Yeah, well, you were part of that culture, and I guess it's rubbed off on you because you're seeing the stuff that, you know, I wouldn't necessarily see. But yes, whenever you speak to the Aztecs coaching staff, they're always talking about, yeah, it was all right, but there was this and there was that we didn't get quite right, and we'll go back and look at the film and come back and do it again. In terms of the players that scored today, we had, what did we have? We had 3 from Brees, we had 2 from Wimmer, we had a couple from Sam East. But what impresses me most is the amount of players that score in this team, and that's by design, right? This is not you know, a couple of superstars put it up and you know, everyone's getting a touch of the ball.
It'd be great to see the stats of the game and about how many receivers got a reception, how many people made a tackle, but also the names on the score sheet here. Joe Sabana and Romain Barat, you know, they're not your household Aztec names, and they're getting on the score sheets thanks to their dedication to practice and willingness to stick with the team, and when they're called upon, they can make plays too. So, yeah, great showing.
Just turning our attention to Rushmoor, obviously a big loss for them. How do you think they're going to feel? We'll probably hopefully get a chance to hear from Phil de Monte about how his team feels. But coming in here is a big loss. But there were some players that I was particularly impressed with. Number 29, Ola Akinsanmi. I thought he had a really good game as a defensive back. Made at least 3 plays, and I don't remember a completion on him. We'd have to go back and look at the tape. I thought he played very well. And Matt Ariosis as well. I thought there were some highlights for him here. And Flint shows that he's got really good potential. Your view, Spencer?
Yeah, I mean, being a young QB in the British League is like, tough. It's a tough thing to do, but I think you put a few things on film which, it might take a year, 2 to build on, but it's definitely stuff there. Agree with you. Angelos is a QB and he's playing out there at wide receiver, but I think Harvey Macy deserves a run. The running back deserves a bit of a shout out as well from his returns early on, and he ran with grit.
We're showing you some of the highlights, the different players. We talked about how many of these players score, but Wimmer, for me, was outstanding today. I couldn't take my eyes off him, whether it was on the returns or whether there was a spectacular catch in the end zone that was called back where he's an absolute full stretch. Just talk a little bit to us about your impression of Wimmer today.
Yeah, it's a pity that catch didn't count on the actual score sheet. That was one of the most athletic movements I've seen in quite a while. But yeah, I mean, he's from the States. He's got that pedigree of college ball. He's put it on for UE, and now he's putting it on for the Aztecs. He's a very, very, very exciting player to watch.
And then we had scores. We had 3 scores from Josh Brees. Just saw him going in now. I think this was for his 2nd score. Looked like business as usual for Josh Brees. Didn't really get a sweat up as far as I could tell. That offensive line just taking really good care of him.
Yeah, exactly that. I would say they're more of an offensive line touchdown than they are a Josh Brees. And not to take anything away from Josh Brees, but the O-line there, when they brought in the heavy package with Sean Vaughan at fullback, making it super, super easy for Josh Brees, and I'm sure he will testament to that as well.
This is the Wimmer punt return, is it? No, this is Sam East's punt return, which again was spectacular towards the end of Q2. He just seems to be able to turn on the athleticism, makes a couple of jukes, finds open space and gone.
Yeah, I think this shows as well the Aztecs at full strength. Like I mentioned at the start of the show, the CEFL limits your team to 2 American inputs, so that means that, the Aztecs had to make a choice of Gretz and Josh Brees. So with Wimmer and East back in the lineup, this is literally the Aztecs on full force, and 80 points says a big thing.
Here's the kick return from Wimmer to open Q3. Crazy, really, that with that such a big scoreline at the end of Q3, then of course the Aztecs get the ball and they immediately return it for a touchdown. But just again, the size of Wimmer as well. He's not small, he's very difficult to tackle. This was one that also got us excited here. Joe Sabana, backup running back, coming in for a 4-yard touchdown as well.
Yeah, it's great to see when the backups and the guys who are grinding each practice session to get scores and get rewards.
Laidley got the chain with this interception. Did a nice job being in the right place at the right time to pick that one off, made the return. That got the defense excited about his progress and his ability to get the pick, and we like this one to the veteran. This was a beautiful pass from Benzie to Green, who takes it in with a nice over-the-shoulder catch.
No doubt that will be the loudest person on the bus on the way back. But hats off to Chris. Obviously they played that up, and he's pulled it in with a great catch.
And just when we thought the scoring was over, Romain Barat makes a great play, number 41, reads the screen beautifully, takes the interception all the way to the house. Defense score as well, all 3 phases for the Aztecs scoring today.
I don't know what much more you can ask for, to be honest, Carl. You've won 83-0, you've scored on all elements of the ball, so yeah.
We do have been thinking about this most valuable player. Let me just remind you how this is being sponsored today. At the end of the game, and it is the end of the game, we're going to tell you who our MVP is. It's sponsored by our Meat VP is sponsored by New Manor Farm Shop Meat, recognising either the most outstanding play of the game or the best overall individual performance. The winner will receive a New Manor Farm Shop Butcher's gift basket worth £50. And I shall hand over to Spencer. Drum roll, please. Who's your MVP for today?
The winner of this amazing gift, an amazing award, is the Sizzler, Quinton Wimmer, with his absolutely outstanding performance of not only catches but kickoff returns. He is the receiver of this amazing reward.
Yeah, we hope this continues as well. It's a great, well done to Wimmer, because he had three touchdowns on the ball, but it wasn't just that, it was stuff he didn't get, you know, it was a touchdown that he caught that actually didn't get called because it came back on a penalty, but also got that kick return touchdown. So fantastic job by him, and he is your Meat VP, and hopefully this is something that will return. Now, in terms of the team's next kind of competition that's coming up, Rushmoor go on to play the London Blitz again, and then they've got Cambridge, Wembley and Cambridge to finish out their season. Remember, there's a Bristol home game 13th of June, and we'll see the Rushmoor Knights again on the 13th of June, and we'll see you there as well. Andrew Morgan will be returning in the booth as well. Let's go down to the field and hear from Welf, and hopefully rustle up some responses from the coaches. Over to you, Welf.
Thank you, Carl. Yeah, I'm here pitch side with Phil de Monte, the Knights coach. Phil, not the Knights' day in terms of the score on the board, but certainly some promising moments out there.
We need to stop the big plays. That's what it is. I mean, the Aztecs execute perfectly. You can't fault them for this. The score line reflected at times the way we played. And, you know, we just got to get better for next week and then play them again in 2 weeks' time, and hopefully we'll put some points up on the board and close down the deficit.
Yeah, it's fair to say in the sort of turbulent start to the season the Knights have had, in the back room and wherever, this game probably isn't going to define their season. I think there's really nice moments to build on there.
I mean, what happened in the back room does not define what's happening on the field of play. And I see us going forward for the rest of the season. One game doesn't make the season, so.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just great to see a club like the Knights back in the top division where they belong. And there's going to be some great young players out there who will really relish the opportunity to play some of these Aztecs guys, and who will be really up for things in 2 weeks' time. I
mean, the whole Knights program, from the under 16s, under 19s to the seniors, we're building a program, and it's paying benefits. I mean, this is our second season in the Prem, and we're planning on staying up here for a long time. We now have to just step it up and compete a bit more.
And just while I have you, Phil, we honoured Andy Wayne today at the start of the game, the official who so tragically lost his life last weekend. And they are such an integral part of the sport at the grassroots level and at every level. And it's just right that he was honoured today, as he has been across the league at all the fixtures.
We can't do anything without the officials, and they put so much effort into it. Many years ago, after I coached Coach Pete, I did sit through the BAFA coaching officiating course, and it wasn't easy. There's a lot to do as an official, and I respect these guys totally.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Best of luck in 2 weeks' time. Well, Phil de Monte, their head coach of the Knights, then straight on to the winning coach, Coach Pete. I mean, what a day it is for the Aztecs. Perfect weather, and what I loved in that second half was you had guys who've been rotated, guys getting some minutes, and the reaction on the bench when there were picks, when there were big plays by these players who can be classed as rotation options, and that's not a derogatory term, but the backbone of the squad, the reaction, the finishers, the reaction from the sideline when they got stuck in was massive.
Yeah, it was, and we've got lots of guys that want to play football, and they know that they're going to get opportunities, and when they get opportunities, we'll be filming it, and we'll kind of coach them up from it, and those opportunities will grow into other opportunities, and we've got starters and we've got finishers, and the finishers definitely came on and finished the game strong today.
Yeah, it was great to see those changes being made, but also, this game is probably defined by that first half. We chatted to Ethan, of course, and he was saying how privileged he is to have those players around him that sets him that platform. And I think that is, you build up from the D-line, and then you build up from the base of these kind of teams, and that's exactly how the Aztec squad has been put together.
Yeah, I mean, you win games of football at the line of scrimmage, and it's really very hard to do that without a good offensive line and a good defensive line. And we've over the last few years, as we've become one of the better teams in this division, a key driver for that has been, yes, getting better players and coaches generally, but really focusing on the offensive line, the defensive line, and making sure we're well resourced there, because that's what wins you games at this level.
Another clean sheet today, only undefeated side now in the Southern Division, the top tier. It's exciting looking ahead as you're going for yet another playoff back to back for a 5th time in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a time when it kind of felt like a long way for us getting into the playoffs, and it'll feel like that for them now. But all you've got to do is keep looking forward, keep doing the right things, keep moving on, and you'll keep making progress. And yeah, it'll be our 5th time in the playoffs. But let's not forget we lost 2 semi-finals, and then we lost a Brit Bowl, so we've taken our lumps as well,
And of course, we are going to chat to Quinton in a second, the Meet VP, of course. That program being put together by Matt Vanstone, who's a former player as well. So it's great to see the sort of wider connections for the Aztecs. Someone like Matt Vanstone, the Master Butcher, coming back to support the team. It says a lot about the culture that you're building up at the Aztecs.
Yeah, and it's really important, and it is a community, and there are, the alumni guys are all interested, keen, coming to games, and yeah, there is a big community around the team, and the team are well established now, and it's important to carry on building that community and growing the fan base as well,
And it'll be nice to finally have a game at home for once in the league, as you will have in 2 weeks' time. There was a watch along organised today, of course, by the club. But yeah, how much are you looking forward to getting back in front of the home fans and play some league football?
Yeah, really, very much so. And it's important to keep growing that crowd at home. Going to be great to have 2 back-to-back home games. They're like a real good social event as well. We all kind of have some food and have a beer afterwards. And like you say, we've been doing the watch parties back at the Village Hotel in Bristol, and we've been getting 100 people turning up to those to watch our away games at home. So we need to keep kind of growing that fan base every week, every opportunity we've got.
Thanks, Pete. Really appreciate you speaking to us. And Pete Jones, the head coach of the Bristol Aztecs. And I'll bring in the man who is the first ever Meet VP. The first ever, there has to be a first Meet VP, the MVP of the game at NSU, Quinton Wimmer. I mean, you've absolutely smashed through the 200 rushing yards that you built up for the day. I think you're averaging about 100 a game at the moment, just a touch under, which is pretty mental stat for receiving yards. It must be great to have that connection with yourself and Ethan as well. He spoke about it at the halftime interval.
Yeah, I mean, it's great having the best quarterback in BAFA throw you the ball, and we have a previous connection back in the States, so it's like bread and butter out there.
I mean, what do you make of this Terminator analogy that you've been given to you by Coach P? I mean, you see plenty of smiles on faces from you now. It feels like a harsh one to be given.
Hey, I love it, Who doesn't love Arnold, Maybe he was a villain, and then he becomes a good guy. So go out there, you perform well, you get that nickname, you just go out there and destroy.
I mean, we spoke to Ethan as well at the break about this, about the growth of Brit ball and American football in this country. But I mean, what have your experiences been of the Aztecs so far? How have you made of how the squad's come together, about the coaching, about the facilities? I mean, I know that the Aztecs were visiting the Bristol Bears, the freshman rugby team, in recent days. It must be a really cool place to be at the moment.
Oh my God, it's awesome. It's just a blossoming organization. You got Nigel, you got Pete, you got Elliot. I mean, the new jerseys, pads, the amount of dedication and just upgrading every week, it seems. We're getting to a higher level. I mean, the Aztecs, the roof is the ceiling, the ceiling is the roof, whatever it is. Yeah, I know it's an awesome time to be an Aztec, for sure.
I mean, we saw the trailer to that fantastic documentary that's going to come out at the end of the season, focusing in on Warsaw. With not the result you were after in Europe, and with Manchester as well also being beaten. What do you think is going to bridge the gap between the European teams and the English teams? Think in the years to come.
Well, that's a tough question. It's a loaded question, but I think it comes down to level of dedication. It comes down to execution. I think in Warsaw we just didn't win all 3 phases of the game like we did today. I mean, today we had offensive touchdowns, defensive touchdowns, and 2 special teams touchdowns. And I didn't play in Warsaw, but obviously not the end result we wanted. And I think any other day we could have won that game, but there was a lot of things that we couldn't control that happened that week.
And just one last question. I mean, the sun's out. It is a Sunday, but what are the celebrations we've got planned? Big away win. You've got to mark it somehow.
I'm going to cook a big, fat, juicy steak from that meat pack, baby.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations to the Meet VP, Quinton Wimmer. Thank you so much for speaking to us. The first ever Meet VP, of course, with Matt Vanstone, the Master Butcher, supporting that one from the Bristol Aztecs community as a former player as well. Well, a fantastic performance on the road from the Aztecs. A huge scoreline, surpassing their fantastic away win here last year by 62 points, and already their biggest result of the season in the league. Going from strength to strength, we'll be back, of course, on the 13th in 2 weeks' time, when the Aztecs will play the Knights for a second time, but this time at home, back in Bristol. Well, thank you so much for joining us for our coverage of this Division 1 game for the Bristol Aztecs. Again, we will be back on the 13th for some more action.